Live. Yeah, gotta wake up for this. Okay, I'm live. Welcome to the live stream where we do it live. We do it. Do it live. Nope, don't want that. What am I looking for here? God. Ah, Pineys. Book 15 is finally out. That was the big news this week for me. Very excited for the Pineys. I gotta do some advertising and usual stuff. Gotta get the word out. Book 15 is out. A few people bought it already, so that's good. Oh, let me get a sip here. Keeps me going. All right, what did I do this week? This week in Tony, I went to, where the hell is it? July. Went to the Farmstead. Farmstead, did an event there. And then at the Millville Public Library, that was another good event. Did a lot of talks this week. And then I went to the alpaca farm on Friday. And that was fun. So I did the talk 3 times this week. And nothing going this weekend, but I did have a very pleasant Saturday. I went out with my girlfriend, and we had a great time. We got a blueberry cannoli in Hamilton. We went to Smithville. We got some pizza there. That was nice. We drove around South Jersey. We went to go see the Tuckerton Mound, and I actually took some pictures and video, but the video I had to delete because I got some of the facts wrong. I made a video to post, and then I screwed up some of the facts, so I couldn't post it. But the Tuckerton Mound was way out there. It's not on any maps, so you kind of gotta. There's a website called Waymarking, and you can go there, and it'll give you the exact coordinates, and then you punch that into Google, and then Google will take you there. And there's no signs or anything because they don't want people to go out to it. Not that you would, because it's in a very marshy area. But it is the oldest, or one of the old, or I don't know how many of these exist, but it's it's about 1,500 years old, and it's a shell mound. It's like all the Lenni Lenipes 1,500 years ago, for some reason, dumped all their shells in this giant pile. Like millions and millions and millions of them. And for a short time, I think in the 1800s, they discovered it. And they were taking some of the shells away and using them for farming and whatnot. So I guess it's some kind of fertilizer. But then they stopped doing that. And now it's a protected thing. But there's not even a sign. So, but it is very hard to get to. And we took this road out in the middle of nowhere near Tuckerton. Went all the way out there. Took my poorly made video. And then said, oh, should we go straight or do we have to turn around? I said, I don't know. It looks like the road goes through. So we decided to keep going on the road. Turns out the road doesn't go through but we had to discover that after about, 20 minutes later. And I had to turn around. And then I had to really drive all the way back. Then what did we do? We went to see Deadpool and Wolverine, so that was nice. So just a great day for me. Today was kind of just taking it easy. Got some sleep, ran some errands, and getting ready for the week ahead. What do I got going this week? Anything exciting? Thursday, I'm doing an event, and Friday. I think I'm missing another weekend. It's crazy. How do I not have stuff going on the 4th? I'm pretty sure there's an event on the 4th. Why aren't I booked for that? I'm going to have to do some calls. I'll do some calls on Monday. We'll get this all straightened out. Anyhow, welcome to the live stream. I wonder where everybody is. I just literally posted. I don't know, it's weird. Sometimes I get here, everybody's here. Then sometimes I get here and I expect everybody here, and then no one's here. Who knows? Who knows the way the internet works? That's why sometimes... Oh, there we go. Holly M is here. 7 Bridges Road. That's right. That's the name of the road, or Great Bay. I think it was also called, or no, I think I had to take Great Bay to get there. Um, yeah, that's where the Tuckerton Mountain. Oh, I guess you've been there. I guess you've been there. It's pretty crazy. They have signs all over the place saying don't fish on the bridges, and everybody was fishing on the bridges. Like I had to drive across this bridge. It's a wooden bridge, and it's just wide enough for a car, and maybe just like another extra foot on either side. And Holly M. Yes, but we call it Seven Bridges Road. I guess there are 7 bridges on it. I think that might be right. Holly M. I used to live near there. Oh, okay, cool, cool. It's very much a marshy, reedy, seagull type place. But like I drive it across the bridge, and there's maybe JEC is here. Everybody's coming in finally. Hi, hi, hi. So there's about a foot on either side of the car, and these fishermen are standing there, and they're not moving at all. Like they do not care if I run them over with the car. I'm just like, to me, I'd be like, oh no, I gotta scoot over. Nah, they just kept fishing. JC, can you turn up your mic, Tony? Oh, shoot. I'm having mic issues again? Let's see. How's that? Is that better? Let me check my levels here. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Is that any better? I'm in the orange. I should be good. I'm like cranked all the way up here. Just this. How's that? Is that better? I got it all the way cranked up. All right. Hopefully that's better. I'm a little tired, so maybe I'm not talking as loud. Ha ha. But anyhow, JC, it was a bit low. I got a bunch of fans going. Okay. Don't blame you. JC, yes, it's better. Okay, good. So, yeah. So if you ever get a chance and you're in the Tuckerton area, check out the mound and then turn around because the road doesn't go through. Then you could go to, there was like a maritime museum nearby, and that's where we started. I think that was in Tuckerton. They had like a gift shop. They had a Jersey Devil statue. I took a picture of that. Carter Chain, hey Tony, have you seen Deadpool yet? Yes, I have. And you could see my review of that. I posted that last night, but it dropped this morning. I enjoyed it. Great deal. It's very good. It's fun. Lots of member berries. I don't know. I probably shouldn't give you any spoilers, but there was a cameo that was very satisfying to me. And they managed to personalize it a bit, which was very difficult in a movie that, was about characters from alternate universes and stuff. Holly M, Seaport, that's it, is nice. Did you guys go to the Union Market? No, I saw the sign for it. Wasn't sure what it was, but we were trying to find the mound, and then we went the wrong way down the road, and by the time we got back, we're like, let's blow this popsicle stand. Oh, and we went to Chatsworth. That was the other place we went to. We almost went to the Cedar Bridge Tavern. Storebang is here. Congratulations on the number 15. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Very excited. JC, I'll probably end up going to see that new M. Night movie. My brother worked as a prop master on it. Oh, okay. The Trap, I think it's called. Or Trap. That looks decent. I like the premise. It gives away a bit in the trailer, but I think there's got to be something else going on there. Holly M, it's a coffee shop / food. Nice place. Oh, okay. Well, I think we might go back there. It was nice. It was hot though. My girlfriend has a convertible, and it was great day for having a top down. and we're driving all over the place, and it was so nice in the car with the breeze. But the moment we stopped and got out and walked like 50 feet, it was like, oh my God, it's so friggin' hot. Let's get back in the car. So we'd get back in the car and then drive, and then it was like, okay. Holly M, next time in Chatsworth, go to Hot Diggity Dog. That's exactly where we went. And got a hot dog. You gotta go to Hot Diggity Dog. Busby's was closed again. I'm not sure why. I hope they haven't closed. I think they were just closed for the day. But Busby's was turned into a restaurant not too long ago. And so, yeah, Hot Diggity Dog has hot dogs. It's one of those places that has hot dogs with all the different meats. So you get different meat hot dogs, all kinds of crazy toppings. They have various sodas and T-shirts that say Chatsworth, and so yeah, no, I like Chatsworth a lot. Chatsworth is the model for Abe's hat in the Pineys. So I sort of based Abe's hat on Chatsworth, although Abe's hat has become a little bigger than Chatsworth. But it's supposed to be like Chatsworth, and the reason I did that is because Chatsworth is known as the capital of the pines, the Pine Barrens, and it has one historical house. I'm not sure when it's open. I've been there so many times, but it's never been open. But it's like it was some kind of resort. Some famous people came there to resort, and the other thing it's known for is when Emilio Carranza, the famous Mexican pilot who was he was the contemporary of Charles Lindbergh, but he was a Mexican hero. He crash landed in the Pine Barrens and died during that era. And the first people to get to his crash landing site were from Chatsworth, and that's where they brought his body. The Pineys came from Chatsworth, and then allegedly they discovered the body, and it looked like the Jersey Devil had pulled him out of the plane and tried to drag the body away, but they stopped him or something. So I'll have to include that in a story at some point. But yeah, Chatsworth's still very small, but kind of cool. Not very far from the Cedar Bridge Tavern. Hollyette, it's like Hometown USA, very nice and quiet. I've been to that place. The crash site is very cool. Yes, and they had the memorial there. And then the memorial, what they did was Mexican children saved their pennies to raise the money for the memorial. So they say when you visit, you're supposed to leave pennies as an offering to the ghost of Emilio Carranza, because if you don't, he'll haunt you in his ghost plane and buzz you, and you'll hear him flying in the sky, and then you'll look up and nothing will be there. Woo! So if you don't want to get caught up in a Scooby and the Gang kind of situation, bring pennies if you go to the Emilio Carranza Memorial. Every year they have a big ceremony because he's still considered a great hero by the Mexican people. Oh, excuse me. All right. Good warm-up. Good warm-up there. Okay. Starting to wake up. So what's going on? All right, yeah. So Wolverine and Deadpool, if you haven't heard, is a huge hit. So did really well this weekend. I recommend it. I think most people can enjoy the movie. If you're totally clueless about the MCU and Marvel Comics, you might not enjoy it. If you don't like crude humor, there's a lot of crude humor in it. I like that. But if you're not a fan of that, and there's tons of cursing in it, that you might be annoyed. I think the trailer's a little misleading. There's way more action in this thing than anything else. There's so many fights. So many. So the trailer mainly focuses on a lot of the stuff that happens in the beginning of the movie, which is over relatively quickly, and it goes right into the action. So actually it starts with the action and then flashes back. So there's just tons and tons of Deadpool murdering people and Wolverine and him fighting, and so if you enjoy that kind of stuff and the comedy and the comic book stuff, You'll be fine. My girlfriend was sort of up on some of the MCU, not a super big comic book fan or anything, but had seen some of the movies. She enjoyed it. She liked it. Um, so just to give you a gauge, I'm pretty steeped in it. I thought it was great. Um, Not a lot of huge inside comic booky things, other than maybe like Lady Deadpool, who's played by Blake Lively, by the way, Ryan Reynolds' wife, which was funny. But Hugh Jackman is really a standout in this movie because he is really still acting the hell out of Wolverine. Man, he plays that role so good, and he just never changes. You know, he doesn't break. He's really good. Ryan Reynolds is the Indie Phantom. Deadpool is cleaning up. Yes. Um, he's the straight man to Ryan Reynolds' hilarious dude. And so, and as I said in my review, it's not just that this is a good MCU movie. It's a good comedy movie that we desperately need. We desperately need more comedies. And it's also a summer movie. It's so much fun. That's why it's a big hit. It has almost, from the MCU stuff, it's almost superfluous. I mean, some of it's there's some deep lore in there, but you don't really. I mean, I saw all the movies connected to it, except maybe one. Indie Phantom. Ryan Reynolds is not straight, it seems. Are you saying he's gay? He's married. He's saying a bunch of gay stuff in the movie. That's for sure. He made a ton of jokes in that. I don't think he's gay. I mean, he might be, but I don't think so. Indie Phantom. I just don't like supporting Disney, so we'll wait for the torrents. Yeah, no, I don't blame you. It was expensive. I mean, it's $14 a ticket near me, which is a little much. But, for this, I'll go see it, if only to reward Disney for actually making a movie that there's very little woke stuff in it. There was a couple woke things, like, but it was consistent with what had happened in the previous movies. So, like, the wokest thing in it is, there's, oh gosh, the other X-Men character that's friends with Wolverine, or friends with Deadpool. What's her face? The one who's gay and got a lesbian haircut. So she brings her girlfriend to Deadpool's birthday party, and Deadpool likes her, like, he just likes how cheery she is. Holly M. I heard it's worth watching in 3D. Oh, ooh. Indie Phantom, not the straight man I meant. Oh, right, yes. Sorry. Yeah, he is definitely not the straight man. He is like, the one-liners are just pouring out of him throughout the whole movie. Indie Phantom, I heard it was anti-woke, but wasn't the last Deadpool rumored to be woke? Yeah. It wasn't anti-woke, really. It was just a normal movie. Like I said, I mean, they had the one gay couple in it, but they had been established, I think, in the first movie, or at least she had been established in the first movie. And then I guess she got her girlfriend in the second movie. Other than that, there wasn't any girl bossing. I mean, the villain was a female, but she was just evil. Indie Phantom, never saw the second one. It's worth seeing. I like the second one a lot. Josh Brolin's really good in it. Josh Brolin plays again, kind of the serious guy to Ryan Reynolds' crazy guy. And he's really good at that too. I mean, he's a really good actor. So he plays Cable. And then the thing that Ryan Reynolds does, Indie Phantom saw the first one, but that feels like a decade ago. When was that? Don't even remember. But yeah, here it is, 438 million opening weekend. I think this is going to hit a billion. It might fall a little short. It's not quite enough to start, but I think this is going to have legs. It's getting really good buzz. But the second one has a bunch of cameos from characters in the Marvel Universe and some from the Image comics. And I thought it was very funny. So I recommend the second one. Definitely. It was just crazy. I don't want to give anything away, but I'm really tempted to tell you about one of the cameos, which I didn't even see coming watching that. It was really good. So, this one, it doesn't really build upon the previous two Deadpool movies, other than it starts with all his friends from the previous movies, and Vanessa. So I thought they were Indie Phantom. I didn't listen to your full review just due to spoilers. Spoilers, I guess, are mostly cameos. Yeah. There's a lot of cameos. Really good ones, though. And, but, you know, so they tee up all the friends from the previous movies. And you should see the second one for one bit in the movie, in the third one, that you might not get if you haven't seen the second one. Now that I think about it, because there's one character he's introduced in the second movie, and he definitely plays a huge role in the third movie, and it's good. Deadpool 2, totally solid follow up. So, is it anti-woke? It wasn't anti-woke, but what they did was Ryan Reynolds makes fun of Disney, makes fun of Fox, so he really breaks the fourth wall in a sort of inside the Hollywood beltway kind of way. Indie Phantom. Some comments on Mead spoiled at least one cameo that seemed to be outside the MCU. Outside the MCU. Mead. Not sure what Mead is. Yeah, I'm not sure what that refers to. Part of it, it has the TVA in it, which was really established in the Loki series, which is not strong, but much like when Tom Hardy plays Bane, which is, to me, another weak character, the movie makes that almost palatable, the TVA concept. So, and Indie Phantom, it was female. Oh, well, she's in the MCU, if it's the one I'm thinking of. Carter Chain, did I miss something? Why was there no TJ Miller? Oh, he got Me Too'd. Over an incident. Same old story. It was years ago. But weirdly, his, as far as I remember, if I'm remembering correctly, his situation wasn't all that crazy. It wasn't like he broke the law. I didn't even think he got sued. But they just canceled him. And now, it was a shame. I think he was in the second one, but he's not in the third. No. Although, quite frankly, the way the story rolls out, you didn't need his character, technically. Technically, his character probably wouldn't have been in it, but yeah, I mean, it's a shame because T.J. Miller did have the same sort of sensibilities in terms of comedic timing that Ryan Reynolds does. So, it's a shame. But Ryan Reynolds is not anti-woke, but he is he kind of understands fan service and he understands how to roll out the comedy. So he made fun of Disney. He made fun of himself. He made fun of Jackman. He made fun of Fox. He made fun of everybody. And it was equal opportunity for the most part. I can't think of a single thing he didn't make fun of. I was a little worried that Deadpool got cucked in the beginning of the movie because of his relationship with Vanessa, but they basically addressed that in a way that I was okay with. Don the Second is here. How does it go? You talking about Deadpool? Yes, we are. Worth seeing. Definitely recommend. I got a review of it if you want to watch it. There's a non-spoiler review at the beginning and then a spoiler review if you go further. So you could turn it off halfway through and then go see it. Yeah, worth seeing. If you haven't seen the second one, though, you probably should see the second one. If you haven't seen the first one, you should definitely see the first one, or else I don't even know why you want to go see it. So watch the first two movies and then go see the third one. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much fun it is. LeMay is here. Hi. Oh, good. Everybody's here. So, I mean, I had my friend call me up the first night it opened, and he just raved about the movie. He said, you gotta go see it. You have to go see it. So when someone calls you like that, it is something that is definitely worth it. I mean, it's got good word of mouth. Indie Phantom. Is it better than the Logan movie? That one did not live up to the hype. It's different. The Logan movie was serious, and this one's funny. It's very funny and very, very violent. Crazy over-the-top violence. Don the Second. I saw it on Friday. I'll see your review after the stream. I thought the plot was all over the place, but had fun. Yeah, there's not much of a plot. I mean, it's just like, for what it was, like, if you're going to do all that crazy multiverse stuff, you have to lean into it and do it all. And that's what they did. So they didn't just do one character cameo. They did a bunch of them. And they were huge. So, Indie Phantom. Yeah, Logan was pretty serious. Yeah, this movie is not serious at all. And that's why it works. Because the whole multiverse thing and the TVA is just stupid and ridiculous. But with a comedy, it works. It totally 100% works with a comedy. Because as long as it's funny, as long as exciting things are happening, you don't care. You're just having fun. Don the Second. Marvel can't revert to their normal BS after this. LOL. The cameos were my favorite part. Yeah. Yeah. They were some good cameos. Yeah. I don't want to give any away. And you should try to see it before some of the cameos get... The cameos are going to get given away. I mean, one already was sort of given away. And as long as we're talking about the MCU, did everybody see the big reveal at San Diego? There was a big reveal at San Diego about the next Avengers movie, which is going to be called Doomsday. So they brought out the actor who will play Doctor Doom in the next Avengers movie. I'll give you a minute. All right. Anybody want to take a guess if you haven't seen it already? It is probably the biggest star in the MCU who is playing Doctor Doom. Indie Phantom, Robert Downey Jr., yes. So Robert Downey Jr. came out and, they had him in the mask and they had a bunch of guys. Don the Second. I wonder why they picked RDJ. It's a very corporate Hollywood decision, I think, because on the one hand, they look at it as, well, he was in the successful Avengers movies, and they're bringing back the Russo brothers, and they want to bring him back because of that. And Chris Evans, they're definitely going to bring him back, I think. So, I guess they don't want to undo Iron Man. So they're going to make Robert play Doom. Now, they haven't revealed whether this is Tony Stark that turns into Doctor Doom or that he's just playing a completely different character and he's playing the actual Doctor Doom. So, I don't know. Indie Phantom, that means he is both Iron Man and Doctor Doom. The only Iron Man comic I ever read had Doc Doom as the villain. Holly M, I bet he's going to getting a big payday. Oh, yes, enormous. Oh, the several money trucks are going to Robert Downey Jr.'s house right now. The amount of money he's going to get for a movie that probably will, they could pretty much bank on $1 billion on that movie. And look, a lot of people are complaining about it. They're calling it desperate. It kind of is. But if there's any actor that could pull this off as a completely different guy, which I think would be the way to go. Like, he's a completely different guy. He's not Tony Stark. He's Dr. Doom. Or Victor Von Doom. It would be Downey. It would definitely be Downey. Indie Phantom, I can't picture Downey as a bad guy unless they make it some weird anti-hero thing. They might. I mean, it might be that, Tony Stark at the end of Endgame gets blasted into another universe and gets all twisted and becomes evil Doctor Doom. I don't think they should go that way, but they might. I don't know. I really hope they don't go that way. Now, somebody pointed out online that maybe you won't ever see Downey's face. That'll be behind the mask the whole time. I kind of think they're going to take off his mask. I think he'll have a slightly different face. Indie Phantom, is he Doom in the Fantastic Four movie? I assume he is. Maybe that's why they introduced him now, because the Fantastic Four movie's coming out, or though maybe not. If they don't make him Doom in the Fantastic Four movie, I don't understand how they're going to make that work. Other than he, is played by another actor and then somehow transforms. It'd be weird. Don the Second. It's just going to be some cognitive dissonance since I've seen so many movies with Iron Man. Well, we'll see. Maybe they'll just make him look really, really different. You won't even recognize him. I'll tell you, I barely recognized Robert Downey Jr. after he stopped playing Iron Man and apparently went on an all-vegan diet. He looked like hell, man. He got super skinny. And he looked very different on a TV show he was doing called The Sympathizer, where he was like the master of disguise, but he looked very old and sickly. Don the Second, well, technically his face gets wrecked, so he won't even be recognized. Well, that's the interesting thing about Doom. When Jack Kirby created him, initially he didn't show his face. And then later, fans were asking him to draw Doom after the accident where he put the mask on. And Kirby drew him, because Kirby drew him as Victor Von Doom before he puts on the mask. So then he draws him as Victor Von Doom, after the accident, and he gives him a tiny little scar. And what it represented was that Doom felt that even a tiny scar on his face ruined his perfect face, and it showed his arrogance. So initially, when Kirby created Doom, the idea was he wasn't scarred at all. He had like a tiny little scar, and that was it. But he was so full of himself, he felt that ruined perfection. And I always thought that was a great character trait, or like a really cool background. But they may go with, like, the modern day version. There was another story later down the pike, long after Kirby was gone, where Doom puts the mask back on. I don't know, it had fallen in a fire and got hot, and he puts it on and he burns his whole face. So I don't know. They'll probably go with that face, which means, I mean, that's a way to do it for Robert Downey, because then he's literally, You know, Doctor Doom is supposed to be a version of the Man in the Iron Mask. If you've ever read that story, although he's evil. Indie Phantom. I wasn't sure if Doomsday was the name of the film. I think it's called Avengers Doomsday. It's going to be the 5th Avengers film. Indie Phantom. He went woke ass vegan. Yeah, and he looked completely different. I mean, barely recognized him. Let me see if I can find a picture of him. Now, he looked more like his Iron Man self. Robert Downey Jr. Vegan. He looked more like his normal self. See here, this is the way he looks, you know, when he's like Iron Man. Let's see. Try Robert Downey Jr. sickly. That's an old picture of Robert Downey. That's him back in the 80s. And I don't have pictures of him. I don't know why. Oh, here's kind of one. Here we go. Yeah, this is the sympathizer. See, there he is. There. Now, he's in a lot of makeup. Indie Phantom. Kevin Smith looks weirder since going vegan. Yeah, he's thin. I mean, he looks healthier. He didn't look good. So there he is there. Here he is. Looking bald. I think he looks a lot more sickly. But in this show, he's the master of disguise. And he takes on different personas. I guess. I didn't watch the show, so I don't know. But yeah, Kevin Smith doesn't look the same because we're used to seeing him fat. He was always fat. Now he's thin. He had a heart attack. That's why he trimmed down. I don't blame him, but he I don't know. Kevin's personality changed, I think, with it. But I think he's still married. I don't think he got divorced, so good for him on that. Yeah, so Robert Downey Jr. playing Doom could work. I mean, they could change his voice too, in which case, why'd you even hire him? But again, he's such a good actor. You know, there's few actors I would say, oh boy, just, you know, go ahead, do your stuff. But Robert Downey Jr. is one of them, man. He's so good. You got to watch him in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. He's so friggin' good in that. It's just off the charts good. Let me take a look at his box office. Holly M. He is still married and they are doing another Jay and Silent Bob. Well, I don't know about that. Might be time. Oh, here's his box office. Yeah, his box office is sick, man. Domestic box office for Robert Downey as a lead, $1.2 billion. Worldwide, 2.4. So that's pretty good. He peaked in 2010, kind of plateaued in 2020, and then whoop. Indie Phantom. After Clerks 3, I am kind of done with Jay and Silent Bob. Yeah, me too. Like, I don't know. To me, the last really good one was Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. I really liked that one. I like the ending to that. That would have been a good ending. You know, the Clerks movies, after the first one, I was basically done. But, you know, if Hollywood offers you money, what are you going to do? Say no if you need it. So I don't know what he's going to do. All those guys are getting too old to do what they do. Like Jay and Silent Bob, they could get old and pathetic because their characters are kind of pathetic and they're a little bit criminal. But like the guys in the store and the guys in these jobs, they can't be old. Like some of them could be old, but really it should have been at some point he needed to swap some people out to make that concept work, or he had to go with a different concept, I think. Indie Phantom, yeah, Strike Back was fun. Yeah, no, that had a really good ending. I love the ending to that one. His movies tend not to end strong, I think, but perhaps with no money, he might be able to do something really cool. You know what I mean? He doesn't have like unlimited funds like he used to. But I think he needs. I think he needs a writer. I think he needs a really good writer to just come in and, or at least punch up the script he has and maybe polish it up for him. You know, take his ideas and really, you know, that was the great thing about Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, because it was a very anti-Hollywood movie, so it was a realm that Kevin knew very well, and there were a lot of jokes at the expense of big-name actors in Hollywood, and that to me really worked for them. Like, when he tries to get serious, it just doesn't work for me. Holly M., the third Jay and Silent Bob movie will be titled Jay and Silent Bob Store Wars. I guess? I don't know. Store Wars. I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Like, to me, it would be funny if... but the problem is, like, with Jay's not really a good actor, I think. Like, he's okay. For what he does, he's great. I mean, he's great as Jay, but that was sort of like him, in my understanding. And then he was a different character in the Seth Rogen movie where Zach and what's her name make a porno of that movie. That one, he was pretty funny, but he had a very small role. It was a different kind of character. I don't think you can give him a lot to do. But to me, like, if I was writing it as a comic book or a, you know, just a novel or whatever, I would make Jay, like, at some point, if I was doing something called Jay and Silent Bob Store Wars, I would make Jay like the head executive of a store, like super successful. Put him in a suit, the whole thing. And then, you know, the plot would involve him being like, he's like a super straight and narrow family man now, but then something happens and he slowly starts to go back to being Jay, you know, crazy stoner guy for some reason. And the problem with Silent Bob is he doesn't talk, so that makes it harder for them to do stuff. Ardent, hello. Currently watching a Deadpool ad. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Holly M., we keep trying to get Kevin to do I Heart Horror, but never happens. Well, his horror movies, I don't think did too well. But I'm surprised he kind of won't do one just because it's local. But he's probably very busy. You know, it's probably not a personal slight or anything. He probably gets tons of offers. Ardent, are we talking about how RDJ is doomed? We just did, but feel free to add in your 2 cents. Ardent, I'm thinking that Superior Doom thing? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, if Doom is in the Fantastic Four, I would assume it would have to be Robert Downey, where they introduce him. And then he would have to play a pretty big, sizable role, and then gets defeated and then comes back against the Avengers, or he gets shunted to their universe. There's going to be still more multiverse stuff going on. Ardent, oh, my 2 cents? I hate it. Well, again, you know, I think he could pull it off. He may be a different guy. I hope he's not a variant. And, you know, it's sort of a corporate move from the Hollywood guys, I think. They just look at it as product, and we had a successful product with RDJ. Why not bring him back? Oh, he doesn't want to come back as Iron Man. Well, find something else for him to do. So, I mean, I think they could have picked someone else, but it's not a lot of great actors there anymore. I mean, the guys who they normally would have picked for Doctor Doom would have been, older veteran actors, and there's just not a lot of those in the mix anymore. Ardent, they must have paid him a fortune. Yeah, yeah. Oh, they're going to pay him all the money. All the money. It's going to be a very expensive payday for Robert Downey Jr. I am sure of that. Sure of that. But he seems into it, you know? I would rather see him come back as Iron Man and fight Doctor Doom, and they have to introduce Doom because he's an important factor in Secret Wars if they're going to do anything close to what happened. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if they can hold this together. Maybe if they keep the Russo brothers are back and they're good. The Russo brothers made this franchise and then they got rid of them or they left. I'm not sure which. And now they're coming back and they're bringing all the big guns. It could work. It could be decent. And then maybe Disney will abandon most of its woke crap, which would be a win. So we'll see. But Deadpool is definitely a win. Probably does $1 billion. We'll see over the next week or two. Second week will be key. This has to do over 100 million next week for legs. If it does something like 130, oh man, these guys will be in good shape. They'll be on track to make $1 billion, I think, or very close. Let's see. I mean, what did Barbie do its first week? Mm-hmm. See, Barbie only did 162 million its opening weekend. So 205 is way higher. Oops, hit the wrong thing. 205, and that's domestic. So I think it could do $1 billion. I think it could do $1 billion. In which case, you're definitely going to get another Deadpool movie. Maybe another Deadpool Wolverine movie of some kind. Probably won't be called that. It'll probably be like Deadpool and the X-Men or something like that. Either that or it'll just make an X-Men movie where Deadpool's in the X-Men. I don't know if he was in the... I think he was in the X-Men for a short time, but he's never supposed to be really in anything. He's too crazy. Number 2 for week 2 is Twisters, dropping 57%. Still, though, 35.3 million. That's a good payday for a regular movie. It's not doing as well overseas. 221 million for a $200 million production. So, all right, it's made its budget back. Will it make the rest of it back? If they did spend a ton of money on advertising. So if this thing needs to crack 400 million, it'll be tight, but I think they have a chance at doing it. Next week would be 17 million, so figure another 25. It's going to be tight. Ardent, X-Force, the secret operations team had Deadpool. There was some decent storylines in that one. I don't know if they're going to do X-Force. They might. They might, Rabbit. They might. Yeah, I don't know. I thought they were going to get into, what was it, Bloodstrike or X-Force? You know, the second movie kind of teed up X-Force, and they didn't really do anything with that. Maybe they couldn't put it together. There are a lot of big names in Deadpool. You know, Josh Brolin, he ain't going to come cheap. And Josh Brolin already played, you know, what's his face, Thanos, and he played Cable. So that's another argument in favor of RDJ for Doctor Doom. You know, Josh Brolin was Thanos and he played Cable. And he looked completely different in both. So, and he's good in both. He's good in both. Number 3 is Despicable Me, dropping from 2 to 3. This is in its 4th week. This movie did very well. 677 million. Expect another Despicable movie. Dropping from 3 to 4, Inside Out 2, another beast of a movie. 8.3 million in its 7th week. Some movies don't even get to 8.7 million in its first week. This movie, 1.5 billion. Ka-ching. Ka-ching and a half, man. That is money. That is big money. Both those movies, huge wins. That's 2 big wins for Disney. And they needed it. So, is the woke stuff going away? I don't know. I mean, clearly it seems that, Inside Out 2, I heard, was not woke at all. Deadpool is definitely not woke. They're losing a lot of money on their woke movies. Maybe they'll just stop making them. Just quietly, no big fanfare. Dropping from 4 to 5, Long Legs. This is the Nick Cage serial killer movie in its 3rd week. 65 million. That sounds like it could be money for a horror, essentially a horror or thriller movie. I don't think it would have had too big of a budget. Oops. I kind of wanted to see Long Legs, but sort of got talked out of it. Didn't have really strong buzz. Said Nick Cage is just crazy. I don't know. Number 6, A Quiet Place Day 1. Dropping from 5 to 6. $3 million this week. Five weeks in the theaters. 253 million. That doesn't sound like money, but nobody's really in this thing. A lot of effects, though. Hard to say. I don't know. I have zero interest in these films. Just, I don't know any of the actors. The concept's okay-ish. I don't know. I guess if people like it, they keep making them. Number 7, Bad Boys, Ride or Die. 1.2 million. This is money. Yeah, 100 million. That's money. So, ka-ching. And Michael Bay, his franchise continues. They're already talking about another sequel. Will Smith needs another sequel. The Fabulous Four, $1 million. I have no idea what this is about. For women. Oh, wait. It's Bette Midler getting married, and then her friend is Susan Sarandon and 2 other women. And then, I don't know. It's some woman empowerment thing. Not interested. $1 million, though. That's not money. Nah. Susan Sarandon and Bette Midler are big enough names. I would think they would have got more than $1 million each to be in a movie. But it is Bleecker Street. They might have took a pay cut for some back end points. Who knows? But it's hard to make a movie for $1 million these days. See, even if it's just taking place in regular houses and stuff. If that's a union gig, and I imagine it is, I can't see that being money. Fly Me to the Moon. This looked terrible, even though it has Scarlett Johansson in it. And Channing Tatum dropping from 6 to 9. It's been dropping pretty steadily. 36 million. That is not money, I believe. Yeah, $100 million. Oof. Oofa. Ooh, that's a big loss. Not sure why they thought this would work. I mean, you got two beautiful leads, I guess, but I don't get. Hollywood picks these projects, and you would think they'd pick something that, I don't know, was from this century. This is about the moon, NASA and the moon. It's like, dude, that stuff hasn't been popular in 50 years. Literally 50 years. Like when I was a little kid, NASA stuff was still kind of popular. By the 80s, after the Challenger disaster, not popular at all. Boring. No one was interested in when they were doing the space shuttle. Like, kind of, there was some interest, but people got burned out very quickly. I mean, SpaceX, they're kind of interested in, but it's not what it was. Like, in the early 60s, it was huge. And they're still making movies from that era, which shows you how old these people are who are making the decisions, I think. At least kick it up to the 80s or 90s. Make something about that. If you're going to go for nostalgia bait, nostalgia cycles run about 20 to 30 years. So we're in a mode where we should be doing movies about the 90s or the 2000s. That's the nostalgia era. So, I mean, if they were making like a Rugrats live action movie, I'd be like, yes. Yeah, I would greenlight that. I didn't even watch Rugrats, but I knew it was popular. Ardent, make a challenger pick. It's kind of a downer, but maybe. At least you'd be a little further down the line. And I think you got to go further than that. And then in the 2000s, I mean, you have 9/11. I mean, they already kind of burned people out on making movies about that already, but you could make movies about that era. Holly, Fly Me to the Moon, they took a conspiracy theory and tried to make it a romantic comedy. Yeah, who's that for? I mean, the conspiracy theory about not going to the moon? Or, when you talk about romantic comedies, they're mostly aimed at women. Most women aren't particularly enamored by conspiracy theories. So combining those two, I guess you're trying to pull in the crazy male audience that's into conspiracy theories and women, but you don't need to spend $100 million on a rom-com. You just don't. The elements in a rom-com are simple, shouldn't require much effects. Nice looking leads, and a situation where they fall in love. The end. That's all you need. You don't need NASA. NASA shouldn't even be in it. It's just a bunch of expense. Who is that drawing in? No one. No one. You can pick anything that's just popular. Any sport or activity that people do, tie it into that. If you're talking about something in the 90s, or you could do swing dancing. That was big in the 90s. People who were into it would go see the movie. The music would bring in the nostalgia. And it would be a romantic comedy that would be cheap enough to shoot, and then they could dance. It's also very much appealing to women. The music might pull in the men. You can make it sort of like a swingers type scene, if you've ever seen the Swingers movie with Vince Vaughn. But Fly Me to the Moon. Who's greenlighting this? Are the people greenlighting this like 100 years old? Still going, oh yes, the NASA flying to the moon. Oh, everybody loves that. I loved that when I was a kid. What are you, 105? Come on. 90s, you got rap, and early 2000s, you got rap. I mean, something like that. Holly M, what's next? Hey, let's make a romantic comedy about the Berlin Wall. I mean, that would at least be approaching the 90s, or it's in the 90s. I forget when it happened. Yeah, that could be something. You have two people across, you could just do a stupid story where two people are talking across the Berlin Wall, like over the radio or something. They fall in love, and then, it's all about this guy who wants to tear down the Berlin Wall, and he's got this plan to do it, but it's the dumbest plan ever. But it just so happens to coincide with them tearing down the wall, and he thinks his plan works, and they get together. Something like that. That would be fun. I don't know why they're still greenlighting this. Whoever greenlit this, well, you're probably not working in Hollywood much longer since the movie lost like over $60 million just in the budget. Maxine XXX, still in theaters in its fourth week, 231,000. I like the Maxine trilogy. Or at least I like the idea of it. Not really making money though, 18 million, but they spent a little money on this one. I don't think that's money. The other ones were cheaper, excuse me. I would like to see it, but it feels very much like a streaming movie. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, still in movie theaters, making $206,000 this week. They still in 40 theaters in its 12th week. God, this movie you can't stop the Apes movies. They're definitely making another one. Although, I don't know, it was only about 400 million, maybe not. I say give it a rest, but The Bike Riders, another movie that flopped, $200,000, 35 million. I don't think that's enough, but there's a chance it might be. I doubt it. DD, some kind of, looks like kind of animated thing, some kind of anime thing, $200,000 in the States. Widow Clickquat, 113,000 in its second week, dropping by 39%. That's not a big drop, but this movie ain't making a lot of money. It's definitely an art house film. See if it hangs on. Oddity, well, cracked 1 million. It's an Australian horror movie in its second week, but it dropped 82%. Wow, that's a big drop. But it went out of theaters too. Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot, $65,000. Finally going out of theaters. Well, it made $11 million. I think this made money. This is another Angel Studios, I think. Yeah, the production budget was only $8.5 million, and I don't think they spent a lot on advertising, so I think this probably made money. Sing Sing, in its third week, didn't look very interesting. $334,000. Kinds of Kindness made $11 million. I don't think that's money. It might be, but I don't know. There were a lot of big names in this. I kind of wanted this movie to fail. I kind of don't like the director, and I didn't like the vibe of the movie, quite frankly. Touch, 43,000. Cracked 1 million. I don't know. Probably, maybe. It was super low budget, maybe. Janet Planet, another art house movie, hasn't even cracked 1 million. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's a big film. Robot Dreams, still in theaters, $12,500 in its 9th week, 6 million. Won an Oscar. Man, overseas they like it. Liked it overseas. And Make Me Famous in its 58th week. How did this happen? Make Me Famous. I don't know what this movie is. $59,000. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that is not money. All right. So that's it for the box office. Did pretty well this week. $276,000 $1 million, but 205 of that is Deadpool and Wolverine. So, and most of the rest are the movies right underneath it. But that's not a bad summer. That's not a bad summer at all. So movies are slowly making a comeback. But they are expensive, man. They are expensive. I mean, just too much. Something's got to give with movies. They've really got to cut back on something. Or if you're going to pay that much money for... I can't imagine they're making money on snacks. How dopey do you have to be at this point in your life to go to the movie theaters and pay for that popcorn, when you could just sneak in a bag of popcorn if you want to, or just make your own, bring it in a bag? It's so friggin' expensive. And I've snuck in all kinds of crazy food in these theaters. I didn't this time because we spent all day eating before we went to the movies, so we were pretty full. By the time we got to the movie theater, I was like, oh, I don't want anything. But yeah, they really need to do something about the movie experience, because we showed up for an 8 o'clock showing of Deadpool and Wolverine, and it didn't start till 8:30, and it was a 2-hour movie, but we were there an extra half hour because of it. It's just ridiculous. 2.5 hours. It used to be, the movies used to be 90 minutes, and the previews will last you, maybe it will last you 15 minutes. Alex Ogle is here. Now, Tony, I watched the 1979 film Star Crash last night. Never did I think I'd see a film with both Christopher Plummer and David Hasselhoff in it, but most surprising was to see a Don DiGerolamo on the staff. Any relation? Nope, he spells his name different. I don't think so. Yes, spelt with an I and not an E. I don't think so. I did have one relative that supposedly I had heard, who was working in Hollywood, that I tried to get in contact with, this was 30 years ago. But we never really chatted or talked, so I don't even remember the story. It was something like my aunt had a distant, had her sister's kid and moved to LA, and I think he was a writer, but no, different DiGerolamo. That's the other spelling. That's another group of DiGerolamos. They're from an alternate universe of DiGerolamos. But interesting to see another Paisan in the business. Let's go over to Variety. Deadpool and Wolverine obliterates R-rated record. Superhero film has collected $205 million its opening weekend, making it the 8th best debut of all time. All time. That is a pretty good debut. But of all time, that's crazy. Eighth best debut of all time, ahead of 2018's Black Panther, behind Jurassic World and Avengers. Only 9 films in Hollywood history crossed the 200 million milestone in their opening weekends. Oh, wow. Ticket sales also easily surpassed 2016's Deadpool, while the prices are a lot higher now. 132 million. Set the record for the biggest R-rated opening weekend ever. 2018 sequel Deadpool 2 now stands as the 3rd biggest R-rated debut at 125 million. Among the newest installments and many benchmarks, Deadpool and Wolverine landed by far the biggest start of the year, overtaking a Pixar sequel, Inside Out. Huh. Well, that's pretty cool. I shouldn't have moved the tab over here. Whoops. Oh, let me go back to Variety. I ruined my own tab. So that's big. Alex, it needs to be remade with our favorite actress in Caroline Munro's role. I don't think even Deadpool and Wolverine can save the cringe writing of Marvel. Camping it up doesn't fix it. Well, if I were the Disney people, I would totally give the MCU to, I would put Ryan Reynolds, if he wanted it, to be in charge of this. Because his sensibilities were pretty spot on. I mean, the movie's funny, but Wolverine was serious. So they could go do I could see Ryan Reynolds maybe consulting on an X-Men movie. It would be serious, but it wouldn't have to be super serious. Could still open it up to a little bit of fun. Not sure what storylines they're going to do. Maybe they could do something more fantastical, like the storyline with Longshot. That was big, but I don't know if that would translate well. Whatever they do, I hope the X-Men just starts and they don't do a big wind up like they try to do every time. They sort of fix it in story-wise in the movie and stabilize their timeline or whatever. So maybe that'll work. I don't know. Don the Second. This is the most enjoyable Marvel movie in a while. I liked it more than Spider-Man No Way Home, but that movie was more serious. Yeah. No, this is definitely more fun. But he has a point in that if you start pulling on these threads, you could unravel the whole thing to the point at which it's ridiculous. But at the end of the movie, it kind of works. Wolverine could just walk off into the X-Men movie and not see Deadpool ever again. Or whatever. I mean, it could be that they just recast Wolverine and start over with him. I don't know. The Fantastic Four is going to have a little bit of that multiverse stuff too, so I don't know. At Don the Second, yeah, I appreciate that, but I regard it as damning by faint praise that this is the worst of a bad lot. The thing is, they gotta respect the lore, and this movie at least respected the lore to an extent. It respected the lore of the old movies, and it respected the lore of the comic books. And yeah, it made fun of things, but it was a comedy movie, so you can get away with that. So Reynolds has a good sensibility on this. I would give it to him. All right, I drank too much iced tea again, so I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom. So everybody, take a break. Be right back. Joan, entertain our guest. How sweet it is. All right, I'm back. Oy, sorry about that. Oh boy, I just missed a whole bunch of things. Don, well, can't get worse than that Madam Web. That is for sure. Ardent, thank God they at least stayed with the R rating. Yes. Don the Second or Black Widow. Yes. Ardent, take a break. I just got back. Holy crap, did you see that? Joan did a flip. Ah, I missed that. Joan. Alex, damn, little Joan keeps showing you up when you're not in the room, Tony. What a raconteur. Good word. Ardent, and now she's moonwalking. Damn it, I missed everything. At Ardent, Alex at Ardent, best show yet. Damn it, Joan. Yeah, you shouldn't do shows with little kids or dogs. That's the rule. That's the rule. Um. Anyhow, I can they fix the Ardent? Ha. Can they fix the MCU? I don't know. Look, if they just stop making things woke, that would fix part of it. And then the other part would be to write decent stories. Ryan Reynolds has 3 Deadpool movies, and they're, in my view, they have good screenplays. This one was a good screenplay too. Everybody gets screen time. Everybody, there's just enough. And there's a lot of characters, and there's just enough data that you're like, okay, I get who this is. So that's a big factor for me as a viewer, that it's a good script. That my girlfriend enjoyed it and she wasn't totally versed in it. That's a excellent sign that it's a good script, because I already knew a bunch of stuff, but she didn't. She didn't know the cameos, I don't think, at all. So I think you give a guy like Reynolds, make him the producer of make him the new RDJ of the Marvel Universe. He'd probably do really well with it. Alex, we need a break from superheroes, just like the rush to capitalize after Star Wars, go back to Vietnam and gangsters. We definitely need more original movies, I would say. They can be superhero movies if they're original. The problem now with the MCU is they're going to launch X-Men for the 3rd time, and we've already seen the X-Men. So unless they go really far afield with it and the storyline, doing something really downstream or something really dynamic, it's just going to be the X-Men again. So yeah, and same thing with the Fantastic Four. How many times are you going to do this movie? It never seems to work. But if they did more original movies, the big thing is they just don't do a lot of movies. I mean, they need to fund small movies. Like the guy who did Maxine and X and Pearl, that wasn't a super expensive trilogy. I think it made money, but certainly Disney could have easily funded a production company on the side to make those kinds of movies, to make a bunch of low-budget horror. They should be doing that. They're just not, because I don't think they're really interested in movies anymore. They're seeing it as, no, movies are done. We got to do online content stuff. But they're terrible at that because they spend too much money doing it, in my view. So like when Disney tried to break into YouTube, it was a disaster. They spent millions and millions of dollars to make a few thousand. They can't make enough money doing YouTube or online stuff, really. Look at Disney Plus. I mean, they don't have enough content yet. Oddly enough, even though they're Disney and they've been around for 100 years. So unless you want to watch, cartoons from the 40s, you just don't have enough stuff to put up every day. Unless you run it like a network TV thing, in which case it's different. You got to have news, you got to have stuff you can shoot every day just to fill up the time. And rather than do that with Disney Plus, they've sort of tried to do both poorly. So they're still doing ABC, but like television is collapsing, but the streaming's not picking up the slack. So I don't know what they're going to do. They need to make up their mind. I mean, they could just sell off ABC and go deep into streaming and try to get everybody to watch Disney Plus, I guess. But you would need way more content that they just don't have. You would need daily shows, some kind of daily show. And you would need to make them on the cheap. So you could, for instance, like, I don't know why Disney doesn't just do a show. Alex Ogle. Disney impoverishes themselves by further refusing to show much of their original content because it isn't PC enough. Well, that's the big factor. That's why they have to abandon that. Ardent. One of Disney's biggest errors, which they can overcome by telling ESG DEI knobs to kick rocks, is refusing to stream some of their racist content like Swamp Fox. Yeah, or like Song of the South. Although that's, zippity-doo-dah. That's a good song. Yeah, they should acknowledge their history. They should just show it. What I would do if I was Disney, I would do a show like Today at the Park. And I would just have some young kid running around the park seeing what's going on. Like, today we're going to ride Space Mountain. And you see him sitting in line and maybe he interviews a few people. Then he gets on the ride and he does the ride and he talks about all the various things that went into the ride. Like, it could be a half hour long. And you put that on Disney Plus. It won't cost anything to do. You could literally shoot that whole thing in a week. Right? You shoot about, I don't know. You could shoot an episode every single day. You really could. I would shoot episodes 5 days a week. Send them in the park. Have them shoot all 5 episodes in one day. And then run it on Disney Plus on the weekdays. Monday to Friday. At 6 o'clock or whatever. I would also run that same show, at the park or whatever you want to call it. You run it on the hotel at the park. So you're sitting in the Contemporary. Maybe you're thinking about, where are we going to go next? And then you watch a little show about whatever, Space Mountain or the new stupid ride they have or the Haunted Mansion or whatever. It would be a fun show. I don't know why they don't do something like that. Something cheap, but something related to Disney. I don't think, this is Don the Second, I don't think Disney is going less woke. They'll just have content to appease the woke crowd and non-woke base crowd. Yeah, I don't think they can win those guys back without getting rid of the drag queens. If you keep putting the drag queens on, like, no one's going to buy Disney Plus if there's even one drag queen on it, if they're like a Trump supporter living in the Midwest. Those people are gone. They're not coming back unless Disney comes out and says, we're done with all this stuff. That's the only way you're going to get them. And the woke crowd isn't big enough to even worry about. Those people, there's not enough of them. It seems like there's enough, but there's not. They're a very tiny percentage of people. And they'll watch anyway. They won't quit. They'll never quit. They'll never drop Disney Plus. You can play Song of the South in a marathon for 24 hours. I promise you, they won't drop Disney Plus. They won't drop Disney Plus. They love it. And they're weak and they're stupid. They're probably not even paying for Disney Plus. That's the best part. They get it from their parents or whatever. Half an hour wouldn't be long enough time to move more than a few meters in the queue. It couldn't be shown, unless it was hours long. Well, you do other shows too. I don't know. Maybe you make it an hour long. You make it very sort of casual. But you do cheap shows like that. Stuff you shoot for nothing. Next to nothing. On a phone, or there's literally one guy in the crew and one guy who hosts it, and that's it. You just walk around the park, interview people. Ardent Party. Animatronic maintenance might not interest everybody, but I'd be into it. I mean, just seeing behind the scenes, them fixing the robots would be kind of cool. You could have a show that's like Cops, but it's for Disney security. That would be fun. Alex Ogle, Ardent. Yes, some sort of crossover between Mythbusters and animatronics. Don the Second. Yeah, I haven't bought Disney Plus yet. I only like Marvel, and that was before the Disney buyout. Yeah, and like you could watch pretty much everything on Disney Plus uh, that's Marvel related in like a month, maybe two, and then you could cancel it. Ardent, or How It's Made in the Disney Workshop. Yeah, stuff like that. Don the Second, How It's Made is interesting use to watch on Discovery. I can't imagine waiting hours in line for a ride. LOL. Well, yeah, yeah, you do in Disney. Now they have a new system though, or they did in Disney, I should say. Now they have some sort of new system where you get in the queue on your phone, so you don't have to stand in the line. You could just show up at your appointed time. So the phone tells you when to run over to Space Mountain, and then you have I don't know how many minutes to get there or get back in line, so to speak. So, and that right there is interesting. I mean, that they have this new electronic thing. You just run that, walking around the park show. I say, okay, so maybe you do an hour every day and just all about the park and how they run it and what they do. You can interview people waiting for rides or whatever. Um, the hard part about it will be interviewing people so they're not complaining about the food prices. James McAvoy knew about his Deadpool Wolverine moment, but wasn't called for a cameo. I'm always ready to return, he says. Oh, right. Okay. I won't give that away. Alex Ogle, TV show pitch. Disney characters in real life. Various characters roam the park, greeting guests and children. Audiences are hooked by surprise reveal. It's Sydney Sweeney emerging all wet from the costume. I like it. Actually, I think you stumbled upon something that could be fun, right? So you could have a show in which they follow the costume guys around, and then maybe you could have episodes where a famous guy or girl puts on a costume and greets people and tries to get them, and if they say like I don't know, let's say it's Scarlett Johansson, and somebody says, "Oh, who's your favorite actress?" "Oh, it's Scarlett Johansson," and then they take off their helmet and it's like her. That could be fun. It'd be like sort of a reveal, but I think the rule is they don't want to break character with the costumes for the little kids, so maybe not. Maybe you could do it with a different costume. 45 Deadpool Wolverine cameos and Easter eggs from the X-Men MCU and beyond. Yeah, I guess there would be that many if you count all the extra stuff at the end. Don II, Sydney Sweeney should play a multiverse version of Black Widow or something. Whatever she plays, she should be in a skin-tight costume. Who could she play in the MCU? Tigra. 100% Tigra. Tigra was like the lion woman, and she was always in a bikini. Perfect role. Ardent. Before he lost his mind, Mark Hamill did a video where he wandered around the con in a stormtrooper outfit. Yeah, something like that. Don II, or maybe even Jean Grey, LOL. Yeah, I could see that. Ardent. Sydney Sweeney as Emma Frost. No one wants to change my mind. She could be good. Alex at Ardent. His best appearance was in The Simpsons. Back off, you freaking dweebs. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. Don II. Keyword skin tight. Yes. Yes. I could see it now. Don II. Oh, I've heard of the Tiger Woman, but forgot what comic she's from. She used to be in the Avengers. Paris Olympics draws big crowds. Swimming, soccer, volleyball deliver 32.4 million viewers for NBC Universal on first day of competition. Did anybody see the opening to the Olympics, though? Talk about woke. Holy cow. Ardent at Don II. Tigra was a West Coast Avenger. Yes, that's true. Was she in regular Avengers too? I think she was for a short time. Don II. Cool. So yeah, the Paris Olympics had this ridiculous opening ceremony with drag queens. It was one of the gayest things I've ever seen. I mean, it was so woke and gay. Ardent, woke? No. Disgusting? Yes. It was crazy. Bearded guys and dresses dancing around. Like, I'm just watching it going, what does this have to do with sports? Don the second, that's all the rave now. LOL drag queen ceremony. Makes no sense. It's not entertaining at all. Like, again, drag is just burlesque. And burlesque is one of the lowest forms of entertainment, really. It's just like a slightly, it's like stripping, only like, I don't know, with more vaudeville in it. And it's just dumb as F. Ardent, I think she was another Ms. Marvel type character. Don't think they ever tried to give her own series though. No, she was never popular enough, I don't think. Don the second, is it woke because it's Paris or because it's the Olympics? Hard to tell, you know. Paris and France has always been on the cusp of that kind of woke nonsense, because when you get right down to it, the French are very socialist. Even Marie Le Pen, who almost took it over, she's very left. They're very left in France. So yeah, it's bad over there. Alex, the best bit from the Olympic ceremony is it proved exactly what we English say about the French. They're a bunch of degenerates. It really, that's one way to describe it, and I have to say that's accurate. It felt very degenerate. It just was like, what the F is this? Why is this being played? Alex Ogle, drag is talentless burlesque. Yeah, it's just dumb. I mean, like, I got dragged to a drag show during one of the Comic Cons, and I was just like, okay, whatever, fine. But I wouldn't call that, number one, anyone who brings a child in that environment, they're out of their minds. You're out of your mind if you bring a kid in that. There's all sorts of drinking and body language, let's say. But it's just a wacky show with gay guys being very girly. So that's all it is. And look, if that's what you're into, fine. I don't understand why suddenly it's all the rage. I think that's a total astroturf, mostly by very woke women who think they're doing something. I think they think they're doing something good for the world. That they're somehow making the world a better and brighter place for gay people. Somehow, even though drag performers are not necessarily gay. There's a bunch of female impersonators. They're straight as an arrow, but they're kind of feminine guys, and they do it because they just happen to be good at it, I guess. And they go home to their wives, and it's just like, you know, they've turned drag into this weird symbol of LGBTQIA 2S++, and it's like, that's not even one of the letters in the thing. What are you doing? Ardent, compared to the opening ceremonies, burlesque is wholesome. Alex Ogle, burlesque singers sing, drag artists lip sync. Yeah, that's true. LeMay, Jocelyn's cabaret would have been more entertaining. Don the second, there's a bar in my city that does drag with brunch. I don't understand the idea, but people go to it. See, that's a woman thing. Brunch, first off, brunch is mostly for women. And that's like a woman thing. And again, it's the hot thing. When this is no longer the hot thing, drag performers won't be able to get arrested. Don the second, I wonder why they can't just that with hot chicks or do that with hot chicks. Yeah. Oh, because I think women are running the show. That's the problem. I hate to say it, ladies. Woke women, I'll say. Woke women are running the show. That's the problem. And they think they're doing the world a favor, but they're not. Don the second, that explains why I don't eat brunch. Yeah. Who the hell wants brunch? Why? When do I go to brunch? I go to brunch in two different instances. Number one, if I'm at a comic book convention and I get up late, and by the time I get to the restaurant downstairs, they're done with breakfast and we're in brunch mode. Or I'm out at some hotel and they're just doing brunch instead of breakfast and lunch. The only other time is if my current girlfriend drags me there, which she hasn't. My current girlfriend hasn't done that yet, but if she asked me, sure, I'd go to brunch, but I'd only be going for her. It's not like I call up my bros and say, "Hey, bro, you want to go to lunch? Oh yeah, let's go. Let's go to brunch." It's, it's drinking in the morning because you're supposed to drink champagne and orange juice as a mimosa, and then you eat whatever. Like, the brunch places are some of the girliest places ever, other than maybe the diners. And I don't care. I mean, good for women. They have brunch. They have a separate meal all for them. Fine, enjoy it. I don't care. Stop pushing it on everybody else. Stop pushing drag and stop pushing brunch. Just do what you want to do. And then other people will do what they want to do. And everyone will be happy. That's the way I would like the world to work. Everybody does what they want to do. No one gets hurt. No one has to feel bad. It's... Woke women just have to be involved in everything. Woke women are the new church women. Back in the 70s and 80s, we had the church women. And those women had to be involved in everything. They had to step in and be moralizing. No, this is ungodly, and you can't do that. Jesus doesn't like this. I don't like this. It's bad. It's evil. It's taking us down a bad path. And they were all a bunch of busybodies. Now we have the new busybodies. And they're a bunch of hipster, childless women who insist on telling us what to do. And they're just as bad, if not worse, because at least the church women had kids. So at least they were moms, and at least they could sometimes address you in a normal way. But now we're faced with a bunch of, it's what J.D. Vance said the other day, a bunch of childless cat ladies who run the show and think they know the best. And they don't even have kids, so they don't even know the first thing about anything. All they know is that they love brunch and they love drag and they love a bunch of woke crap because they can post on social media and score a bunch of praise from total strangers on social media, that half of which are bots anyway. So, what happened to the Paris Olympics? Probably woke women. Because I could totally see a bunch of woke women booking those drag acts. That sitting there going, oh, how about this drag performer? Oh, well, this drag performer, I know this one. I know this one. You could just say it. Now imagine a guy in that meeting. Hey, we got to book some drag performers. I don't know any drag performers. Where do we find them? At a bar? Why are we doing this? Like, that would be the guy conversation. What does this have to do with sports? Why don't we get some sports guys? It's disgraceful. It's stupid and dumb. Marvel's Fantastic Four, titled The Fantastic Four First Steps, Comic-Con Concept Footage unveils retro 1960s vision of Galactus's head. So I guess Galactus will be in the first Fantastic Four movie, and I guess Doctor Doom will maybe make an appearance to set him up for the Avengers movie, maybe? I don't have a still here. Somebody posted this on the San Diego Comic-Con teaser. If you want to see it, somebody posted it. It's okay. Looks fine. It's Pedro Pascal doing his version of Mr. Fantastic. See, look at this. Olympics choreographer on working with Lady Gaga. Why is Lady Gaga there? I mean, she's not a drag performer, although she's pretty close. Why is Lady Gaga performing at the Why are there so many performers at the Olympics? What happened to the sports? I mean, I don't like sports. I don't watch sports. I don't watch the Olympics. But if I did tune into the Olympics and I saw a bunch of drag queens and Lady Gaga, I'd be like, where's the Olympics? Where is it? Who hired these people? I don't get it. All right, moving on. Let's see. Boom. Fandom Pulse. Disney employee whistleblows on Disneyland dangers due to DEI influence. Tiana's Bayou Adventure is more than just a diversity theme. Disneyland ride and others aren't working. An anonymous Disney employee made explosive disclosures about the dangerous Disney rides to YouTuber Overlord DVD after Splash Mountain was replaced by a DEI variant, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Don a second. I like sports, but I don't care about it enough to support this BS. LOL. Don a second. Like I'm seeing a clip or two on social media, and that's all I need. Yeah, I just, did we win some medals? Oh, okay, good. Good for those people. That's about my level of interest as well. Although I'll tell you the McDonald's story again, because it's the funniest thing to me. So in 1984, when I was in high school, when I was a senior in high school, McDonald's used to have this thing every year where you get a card and you get a rub off, and it had an event on it for the Olympics. And if we won a gold medal, you got a Big Mac for free. If we won a silver, you got a free fry. And if we won a bronze, you got a free Coke. Okay? So those were the three cards. So they had hundreds of these cards with all sorts of different events on them. And they were giving them away at McDonald's every time you bought something. Well, we knew some girls who worked there, and they gave us a big stack of cards. And we rubbed them all off, and we were hoping to win some food. Well, then the Russians boycotted the Olympics, and we won everything. So almost every card was a winner. And so they parodied this on The Simpsons. Remember when Krusty did the same thing? Yeah, he lost a bunch of money, and that was the joke in The Simpsons. That was based on this real event. So me and my friends were eating McDonald's like for a week for free because we just had tons and tons of coupons. And then McDonald's, I think, announced that they were going to make the coupons expire because so many people were getting free food. So we went in there one night and turned them all in at once. And then they brought out our food on trays because we won so much food. So they just took 2 baskets of fries and cooked them. And then when they were done cooking and drained, they put salt on them, and then they dumped them on 2 big trays. And they just brought out the trays, no containers or nothing. There was just 2 giant pile of fries. And then they brought out like 2 trays of like Big Macs, and then we could have all the soda we wanted. And we just chowed down, man. It was the best. It was the absolute best. Oh, man. But, Don a second, that's when McDonald's was actually somewhat tasty. LOL. Yeah, I've lived long enough that I remember the days when the food at fast food place was all right. It was all right. It was pretty good. The one that really changed was Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts used to make the donuts. I know, you can't even picture it now. But back then, man, you'd walk into the Dunkin' Donuts and it was an actual bakery. So you would smell the donuts being made in the back. And you would get one and it was delicious because they had just made them. They had just made them, and they were awesome. I think they deep fried them, too. Yeah. Man, they were good. Then they switched to this other, I don't know how they do it, but they make them ahead of time and then ship them. They're awful. I hate them. Ardent. LOL, back when it was food that was fast. I remember when Tim Hortons was like that. I got a Tim Hortons near me now, and it's slightly above Dunkin' Donuts, but not quite as good as, say, Starbucks, I would say. Starbucks doesn't have a lot of food, and it's all prepackaged, but the food they have is actually pretty decent. I mean, I wouldn't eat lunch there, but I eat the cake all the time, and the cookies are good too. But now it's all too expensive anyway for what you're getting. It's all wrapped in plastic. The only place now I'll go for donuts is Krispy Kreme, of course. Delicious. They put up the sign when they make the donuts, hot donuts or warm donuts. And then there's a place near me called Jack's Donuts. So there's only one Jack's. It's a literal greasy spoon for breakfast and lunch, and they make their own donuts, and they're baked and they're delicious. I kind of want a Jack. I wish Jack's was open late. I would totally get a donut for dessert. Ardent, there's a conspiracy theory that Tim Hortons puts a trace amount of nicotine in their coffee to get people hooked. Well, coffee's pretty addictive. I mean, for people who drink it. I don't drink it, but you know, those people who drink coffee, they're like some kind of addict. Oh, it's so good. But anyhow, what was it? Oh, it was about problems. Diversity problems go deeper than the thematic choices, putting the entire theme park operation and guests at risk. So 2 Disney ride failures made the news. They had to evacuate the Bayou Adventure after it suddenly came to a stop. Some of the animatronics are somewhat flammable and unreliable, and the ride hasn't worked properly, apparently. So I think it was stupid that they switched this ride anyway. Ardent, LOL, yeah, not like those iced tea weirdos. I know. Oh, you kidding me? With Deadpool and Wolverine movie success, Marvel Comics gender and race swaps Deadpool to kill potential comic sales. What are they doing? I would fire everybody at Marvel Comics just over this. God, I want to be the head of Marvel. Just to fire everybody. Just let me fire everybody at Marvel, and then you could take it back and then hire somebody else. I just want to be the guy to fire everybody at this point. Wow. Look at that. Why the F would you gender swap? Is it race swap? And race swap Deadpool now. Makes no effing sense. It's literally like they're trying to destroy the comic. They're trying to destroy the comic industry. Ardent, what the F is wrong with you idiots? Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, the book is written by Marvel Comics diversity hire named Cody Ziegler, who worked in the writer's room at the MCU greatest Disney Plus failure, She-Hulk, attorney at law, and has been writing the replacement Spider-Man character in Miles Morales at the company. Well, I think we have our answer. Jesus. Holy cow. Dumbest thing ever. The dumbest. Just when I think they have made the dumbest moves in comic book history, they actually go out of their way to make another. Ardent. It all makes sense now. It's Don the Second, the usual suspects. They do not want to make money. They would rather demoralize comic book fans because they know they're all men. There are no female comic book fans, really. There's a handful, and then there's a handful of actual ones, and then there's a bunch of woke women who pretend like they buy comics, but they don't. God, these people are the worst. Oh, I want to fire them so bad. Why won't you let me fire everyone, Disney? Just turn me loose. Oh, I do it in all sorts of creative ways, too. Knock, knock. Who's there? Fired. Fired who? You. You're fired. Get out. Oh, it'd be great. Don the Second, I wish people could be more objective nowadays with this stuff. Who is reading this? LOL. No one. No one. There's no audience for it. Race swap, gender swap, Deadpool. There's no audience. Quite frankly, there's barely an audience for Deadpool the comic. Barely. But for Right now, you would have an audience for the actual Deadpool and Wolverine. You could do Deadpool and Wolverine right now and make a little bit of bank. Not a lot. It never translates very much, unfortunately. What you could have done, if they were interested in selling comics at all, is you do a Deadpool Wolverine comic, not one based on the movie, but based on another story, or a story that takes place after or before, where you just publish a short comic with Deadpool and Wolverine in it, and you just give it away, and then you lead into another comic that people have to buy or send away for, and then you generate some sales. But they're not interested in that. Clearly, from their behavior, they're not interested in anything. Look at this picture too. Is that supposed to be her foot? Is that supposed to be Deadpool's foot kicking up? Because that doesn't look like her foot at all. That looks like really bad anatomy if that's supposed to be her foot. That doesn't look right at all. But this is insane. It's utterly insane. For what? Who buys this? You guys know I do events almost every single weekend. Almost every single weekend. The next comic show I'm doing is Nerdfest on August 11th. I promise you, there won't be a single person looking for this comic. Not a one. They're not buying any new comics anymore. Nope. They're not buying any new ones. They're trying to turn all the male characters into females in superheroes. Don the Second sort of looks AI. That's a possibility. I wouldn't be surprised if they completely switch to AI generated content when AI gets good enough to be consistent. Like, if I think if you pay the money, you could probably do it if you had enough AI, I don't know, juice or whatever. I don't know. If you just did a panel at a time and then shrunk them down and added the lettering, you wouldn't need an artist at all, I think. Don the Second, what do people usually buy at conventions? These days, old comics and old stuff. Everything old, you know? So, at the convention I normally go to, they'll have 2 or 3 comic book dealers. They might have current comics, but only the hot ones. Like something that's hitting big. But this is not hitting big. It would have to be a #1 issue of something, usually. Or something that, usually from Image, something like that, that's new, or that everybody's reading, but no one's reading anything, really. So what they tend to go for is comics that are like key issues. So like a key issue back in the day would have been something that impacted the continuity of Marvel or DC. That was an important story because they kept the continuity. So for instance, the Joker killed Robin in this story called Death in the Family, and it was a 4-part miniseries. And the 4th issue, before the 4th issue came out, fans voted on a hotline whether or not Robin would die. Of course they voted yes, and so they killed him. And it's a 4-part series, so something like that, right? It's an old comic. It came out in the 80s, but it still holds its value, and people are looking for that if they want to read it. So, or they're buying what's known as quarter books. They're only for a quarter. They're old books. Maybe they're 2 or 3 years old. Nobody bought them. They got sold in collections, and they just ended up in the comic book show, and they're just selling them for nothing because they got them for nothing. When people sell their collections, they sell everything. So, like, for instance, a guy gets divorced, right? So he sells off his comic book collection. He just sells everything for whatever he can get for it, right? And the comic book dealer, he's got to resell it, so he ain't going to give him top dollar unless there's something really great in it. He's just going to say, I'll give you $200 for everything. And the guy will just go, all right, just take it. Just get rid of it all. Because he's just sick of storing it. And then he'll go through it, and he'll find probably enough comics to justify the $200. And he'll take the really hot ones out and put them in special bags. The rest of them he'll pick through, or he'll sell them to another guy who will pick through them for some mid-level hot comics or stuff that's valuable. And then finally, when there's nothing really good left, it'll end up in the quarter bin. And then you'll go to the show, and there'll just be thousands of comics you can buy for a quarter. If anybody bothered to sort them, you can find a good... You might be able to find a comic you need if you're buying a run of something. But now runs don't mean anything because they're constantly starting over, because the continuity means nothing. But back in the day, it did. So they tend to buy older comics when those comics were important. Ardent, I'm looking for some of the old comics I used to own again, mostly the Azrael stuff before they didn't know how to handle a Christian-based, genetically engineered anti-hero. Oh yeah, last time I was in a comic shop, I could have bought most of the store for a few thousand. Yeah, it's like you go to any comic book store, it's teeming with comics. They throw out some stuff still this day because they got too much stuff that's worthless. Nobody wants to read it. So the kind of stuff I bought when I was still buying, and I would still probably buy it today if I had the money. I bought the 80s comics that was published by First Comics, and that was Grimjack, Badger, and Nexus. Mike Barron worked on that, so it's a really good series. And American Flag, and they're pretty obscure. But you can. I bought almost the entire run of American Flag for $5, and I sat there for hours reading it. It's a really good series, by the way. So you can find deals like that at comic book shows. This book will be in the quarter bin, I don't know, in a few weeks, and it ends up in a bin somewhere. These books are so unpopular now. The stores that order comics that normally would order them aren't going to order them, because now they're wise to the game too. I mean, imagine you're running a comic book store and you hear the Deadpool Wolverine movie's coming out. So you figure, oh, I'm going to stock up on some Deadpool and Wolverine. I'll have a little extra in the store because I'll probably sell some. So then what you do is you go to the catalog and you order the stuff months in advance. 2 to 3 months in advance you're ordering. So you're going through the catalog, and then you see the cover for race swap, gender swap Deadpool. How are you going to sell this? Well, the old Deadpool's still around, and you still got tons of those issues. So guess what? You don't order any extra of these, if you order any at all. I know guys who sometimes they just don't order certain books. If nobody asks for it, they ain't going to order it. It'll just sit on the shelf. It's a waste of money. So why even order it? So this'll, I mean, there'll be some guys who blind order. They won't even look. They'll just say, oh yeah, let me get some Deadpools, and then it'll arrive in the shop and they'll be like, what? And then they're going to have to sell it. And what is the first thing you're going to say when you walk into a store? You haven't been in a comic book store in 10 years. You walk into the comic book store. Hey, you got Deadpool? Yeah, we got the latest issue there. And you pick up the issue and you go to buy it, but you look at it and you say, oh, it's a woman. Why is he a woman? Oh, they gender and race swapped him. What? Then you got to explain why Marvel's idiotic creative choices. Alex, comics can't have continuity anymore because the publishers can't hold on to writers. Oh, they could if they wanted to, but they don't want to. And everyone new one wants to stamp something original on it to take it the way he wants it to go. I would say the editors are driving the car now, not the writers. Now the editors are hiring these kinds of writers, and they know already that these kinds of writers with crazy hair and weird ideas, who have, by the way, usually never wrote comics before, they don't want them to have any background on the history of the comic. They want to completely erase the history of the comic. That's the Marxist way. To completely unmake history and then rewrite it in their own version. Alex Ogle, it reminds me of the Calvin and Hobbes cartoon where Calvin describes a conversation like it was a game of football. The ball is the subject and you have to run as far as you can in the opposite direction where it was going. So, this is mostly on purpose. This is like Marxist subversion and demoralization. They want to demoralize all the men, and mostly they're all comic book fans. Ardent, who's the artist on that Deadpool cover? I have no idea. Doesn't say. But again, that foot doesn't look right to me. So, yeah, it doesn't say. So yeah, Marvel, their entire comic book division, like they're allergic to making money. Again, woke women. Woke women, I think, are running the comics at Marvel. They should all be fired. Every single one of them. Never to work in comics again. But they will. As long as this nonsense goes on. Like, if these people had to make money, if their job was dependent upon money, they wouldn't do these comics. Nope. They would have put out the best possible vulgar, action-packed Deadpool they could possibly do. Instead, they're putting out this. Instead, they're making a statement. And the statement is, we're Marxists. So enjoy, ladies. Enjoy obscurity, I guess, when they finally close down the entire division and fire you. Alex Ogle. That's the ultimate expression of those new artists. Who created that? I don't know. It's terrible. It's absolutely, it's a crime against comics. Everybody at Marvel should be ashamed of themselves. Especially the people who own that thing, which is Disney. Ardent, it's Wade's daughter, neo-Marxist trope. Yeah, that's just like they were trying to replace Blade with Blade's daughter, and every character is going to be female now because, you know, men ran comics, now women do, and women are going to put women and women and women and women, and then women are going to read it, and you guys are going to have to like it. No, we don't. We don't have to like it. We're not buying your dumb comics. And I can tell you firsthand, no one is buying the new stuff. The comic fans are going to shows and they're buying just about. That's why I do so well at comic shows with my books. My books aren't woke garbage. And a lot of guys are doing well with their books locally. You know, they're selling their books because they're not making woke garbage. And they're guys and they're making comics. Everybody's making a comic now. This is the best time to get into comics, to start a new fan base. All you got to do is do a normal comic, and people go, oh, what's this character? Oh, he's like Spider-Man. Oh, okay, great. Sign me up. What's this guy? Oh, he's kind of like the Punisher. He shoots dudes. Oh, it sounds cool. Give me a copy. The only problem is a lot of those guys, I think they price themselves out of the market. Their comics are either too thin for too much money, or they're $30. Some guys are crazy, man. They charge $30 for like a graphic novel. I'm just like, dude, you got to print more, drive your price down or something. It's hard to make money in comics, by the way. At some level, I can't blame them, but man, it's expensive. Ardent, the EF Ferry is female. The Efri is female. Alex, you won't buy their stuff? Tony, confirmed misogynist. Yeah. But here's where it starts to come home to roost for Disney. Ardent, yeah, pricing is insane for some stuff. You got to price your stuff accordingly. Gina Carano lawsuit, initial judgment reveals Disney sent Star Wars actress to re-education program. The reveal during her lawsuit is going to be probably pretty devastating for Disney. It's going to be a PR nightmare. I forget. I think what do they call it? There's a phase of the trial where they reveal evidence, and that's going to be bad. It's going to be bad for Disney, I think. And they're going to lose money, I think, in the long run over this. Ardent. Effery. Oh. Now I get it. Vox Day destroys Neil Gaiman with new parody song Mr. Tub Cuddle after creepy Tumblr blog uncovered featuring Gaiman readers in bathtubs. Alex Ogle, Discovery, JC Discovery. Thank you. I couldn't think of a word. Yeah, Discovery phase of the trial. That's going to really hurt Disney optically. And then I think they're going to lose. I think they're going to lose the trial. I think Gina Carano is going to win simply because Elon Musk is funding the lawyers. They're going to win eventually, and they're going to lose a bunch of money for nothing. Like, they didn't have to lose this money. This is a big waste of time for Disney. They're losing money now by spending money or making their lawyers ardent disclosure discovery. Yes. They're wasting all this money on lawyers on a lawsuit that could have been completely avoidable over nothing. Over nothing. Over something everybody would have forgotten about in a week. The JC, John Delarose is a Vox fanboy. Yeah, I don't know these guys. But it's a really bad sign, I guess, that this is happening. Because Neil Gaiman, like, people are climbing. Now, it doesn't mean Neil Gaiman's guilty, because there's been a lot of guys who have been Me Too'd, and it turns out doesn't sound like they're guilty at all. And some of them have been cleared, but it kind of doesn't matter. Neil Gaiman, it seems like they're going after him pretty hard, and this does not help him. But Alex at Ardent, yes, disclosure is a better word, more Commonwealth. Oh, and then Mr. Beast stuff. God, this stuff's just every day something new comes out about this dude, and it's bad. It's bad. And it's so crazy to me that this guy had a wife and kid and he gave it all up for this. That shows you, man. It's like people can, it doesn't matter who you are. You get corrupted by whatever. I don't believe he's really trans. I think he just got caught up in it. I don't think he's really trans. That's my guess. I think there are real trans people, but I think they're incredibly rare, and I think the circumstances are very specific, and they manifest. I think it manifests very early on. This dude to me felt like a total, like the moment I heard, oh yeah, Mr. Beast co-host is now trans, I just thought, nah, no he isn't. I don't believe that for a second. Maybe it was a move to avoid criticism for this very thing that was starting to bubble up behind the scenes. You know, maybe it was his way to avoid a total meltdown like 2 years ago or whenever he came out. I don't know. What I do know is until they start treating this, the trans stuff like, okay, here are the parameters that we know you're trans. You go to a therapist and you get diagnosed with gender dysphoria and you live as a woman for X amount of time, and then, okay, you're certified to be, you know, a trans person or whatever. Maybe then there's some sort of requisite that people go, oh, okay, you must be trans. You went through some long process to be vetted, and you're not just doing it because you thought this would help your clicks or whatever. Like, there has to be a process. And to me, there doesn't seem to be a process. I should be careful talking about this now that I think about it. Alex Ogle, years ago, people had to go through a lengthy assessment to prove they were committed to being trans. It was painful and could be humiliating, but it was necessary to stop people hurting themselves. LeMay, he tried to pull a Bruce Jenner. Well, he seems pretty committed. So, like, he seems like genuine. I mean, if he ain't genuine, man, he's really committed to the bit. So the YouTubers, though, yeah, I find very sus. All right, switching over to the Hollywood Reporter. More on Wolverine or Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's see. How China's first frame competition continues to expand horizons for women filmmakers. I don't know. I thought the commies were very much against upending traditional gender roles, but maybe not. A lot of China headlines. Alex Ogle, I always thought there was something distasteful about this Mr. Beast character. Turns out that it wasn't him so much as the weirdos he employs, but really, with a name like Mr. Beast. LeMay, did people forget the vehicular homicide? Apparently, who died in a homicide? You're saying Mr. Beast did that? There was a video today, I think Jeremy made it, where another he shows a clip that another video a guy makes showing that the trans guy, when his name was still Chris, had this piece of artwork on his wall that was a little Jenner's vehicular homicide, LeMay. Yeah, I don't know if that was on purpose. I don't know. I don't know all the I haven't forgotten about it. And certainly South Park didn't forget about it. Buckle up. What was the line? It was buckle up, buckaroos. But yeah, I'm not sure. I forget all the details on that one. But yeah, so Mr. Beast was in a video with this guy Chris, and in his place and on the wall there was some artwork that was a little questionable, let's say, and there's a shot of him looking at the artwork on the wall, clearly sort of seeing it, and then they continue with the video. And so the idea of the video was that Mr. Beast knew this guy. I mean, he was a good friend of his. He knew this guy, and he was into weird stuff, and he should have seen this coming to some extent, basically. So I don't know. It's an effed up situation because more details are coming out, and they are not good. The more details that come out, the worse it looks. LeMay, Chris had Shadman's art. Oh, yeah, that's the name of the guy who has got some really questionable art. And then he had discourse, or was it discourse or text back and forth, or no, I guess it was Discord, saying like he wanted the guy to do that kind of art for him, or he was asking him for very questionable art, let's say. I don't know how much of this I can even talk about on a YouTube live stream. I'm really skirting the edge today. The Penguin brings crime-ridden trailer to Comic-Con. So more not Batman TV shows. Looking forward to that if you're a not Batman fan. You like Batman, but you want to see a TV show that doesn't have Batman in it, but talks about Batman. That they keep making. LeMay, it's just a drawing defense. Yeah, it's that seems to go out the window when you check out the Discord, because the Discord clearly was like questionable in my view. But yeah, I don't want to go too far down that dark rabbit hole. Yeah, so everything's about the MCU and the Penguin because it's all Comic Con, Comic Con, Comic Con. Super expensive to do Comic Con, by the way, if you've never been. So crowded, I could barely move. Definitely couldn't get away from my table all day. No way. But I like that. I like to be at my table all day talking to people. I wish I could do Comic Con with the Pineys. Oh, I'd sell so much. But I would need about 4 people. To do Comic Con right, you really need a staff of about 4 people. And tons and tons. You need thousands of dollars in merchandise. You need a table in the middle of everything. And yeah, you need about 4 people to really make bank. And you could do it, but it's crazy. Comic Con is nuts, man. Multiverse Data Mine teases Barbie and Harry Potter stages, DC's Nubia and the Powerpuff Girls as playable characters. Alex Ogle. The election 2024 section of the website. I spoke with my parents earlier. They asked, do you think Kamala will be a challenge to Trump? Well, after I'd finished laughing, yeah, I mean, we're in the honeymoon phase of Kamala Harris's popularity, and Trump is beating her in a lot of polls. She like beat him in like 1 or 2 polls here and there, but like she lost in the NPR PBS poll. I mean, how does a Democrat lose in the NPR PBS poll? Do they talk to anybody other than Democrats in an NPR PBS poll in 2024? That doesn't seem very likely. I guess there's a handful of conservatives still hanging on, but she loses in that poll. It's like, pfft. Alex Ogle, Powerpuff Girls, are they still a thing? Well, I mean, it was a strong IP when it was popular. At least we didn't get the woke, horrible live-action Powerpuff Girls show they tried to do. But they're putting them in the video game, which would seem, super. They'd be super powerful for the video game. Netflix live-action BioShock film shifts direction following budget cuts. It's going to be a more personal point of view as opposed to a grander, more epic project. Yeah, I don't know if a live-action BioShock film is the way to go. I really liked BioShock. I thought it was a good game, but I don't really see how they can make a show or TV or movie, I guess. Maybe they could do a movie. I don't know. Here's Marvel Comics writer Gail Simone defends the X-Men books, hiding exposition and first character appearances behind QR codes. We're all trying to make these books something fun. So my understanding is, Holly M. I don't trust the other side. GOP should not underestimate and start too lax. Agreed. Alex Ogle, right. Beer finished. Now for Her Majesty's favorite drink, a gin and Dubonnet. Ooh, I need to steel myself for Monday. What is Dubonnet? Is that like brandy? It sounds very fancy. But my understanding is they now have a thing where you use the QR code in the comic. You don't get the last page. On the last page, there's a QR code. You scan it with the phone, and then you read the comic in your phone? Is that right? Has anybody bought this? Can you imagine buying a comic, and you're reading the comic, and you get to the last page, and it's a QR code, and it says, scan the code to see this new character? How pissed off would you be? I would think a lot. I would be completely pissed off that I paid $4.99 for a comic book from Marvel, because I lost my mind or I was hit in the head. And then I don't even get to see it in the comic I bought. The only reason the comic would be of any value, by the way, that it would have the first appearance rather than in a QR code that then appears on your phone. It doesn't make any sense. Has anyone seen this yet? It sounds awful. And Gail Simone is trying to say that it's fun. How is that fun? How is it fun to need an appliance to read the rest of my comic? How is that fun? Oh, by the way, the last couple of panels, you have to look in a microscope to really see them. Oh, by the way, the last couple of comics, last couple of pages, they're all in Korean. Yeah, we want to, you take your phone, you translate them, and then you can read it. Oh, good. Inconvenience. I was reading a comic saying to myself, this comic's too convenient. If only there was something to inconvenience me. So I have to do more to just finish a quick read in a comic that I paid $4.99 for. Because after I spend all my money on a pointless pamphlet written by somebody with bright orange hair, apparently, who is woker than woke and hates me, there's nothing more that I'd rather do than have to pull out an extra device to finish the story. But Gail Simone's still working. Gee, I wonder why. Could it possibly be because she's a woke woman? I don't know. Could be a number of reasons. Kevin Feige. LeMay. This is like needing to type in a code to continue to play a video game. Yeah, like you're at, okay, I'm entering the boss fight. Oh, wait a minute. Now I have to put in a 25-digit code to continue. All right, let me get the code book out. All right, pushing it in. Oh, I made a mistake. Damn it, I have to start over. All right, let me push in the code. It's awful. Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige admits defeat on Eternals, says there are no immediate plans for a sequel. Oh no! Oh no! What will Eternal fans do now? Sam Rogers is here. Hello, everyone. Hi, Sam. How you been? So, on the one bright spot in the news this week at Cosmic Book News, Bounding in the Comics, rumor, James Wan linked to remake The Creature from the Black Lagoon. This is a one remake I could say, okay, I could see you remaking Creature from the Black Lagoon. It wasn't a very good movie to begin with. The special effects would actually make it kind of work better. Ardent says low. I mean, Creature from the Black Lagoon, I never quite understood, but... So there you go. If you're a fan of the Universal Monster movies. Over at Deadline, more castings revealed at Comic-Con. Star Trek live action comedy in the works, because the woke people running Star Trek, they're so good at comedy, aren't they? Ardent, James Wan, wasn't he the creative genius behind Star Trek Beyond? Oh no. Sam Rogers, do you think Disney will ever sell Marvel and Star Wars? I think you mean Star Wars. JC, wasn't Sound of Water basically a remake of Creature from the Black Lagoon? Oh, that's a point. Maybe. But getting back to Sam's question, do I think they will sell Marvel and Star Wars? If they have to. I mean, they've pretty much destroyed Star Wars. Sorry, I'm just kidding you. I'm just teasing. There's nothing left. I mean, what is left at this point of Star Wars? Who is in for Star Wars now? The Alkalite is an absolute S show that never, ever, ever, ever should have been greenlit. Kathleen Kennedy should have been fired 5 years ago at minimum. They can't seem to get rid of her. Ardent, more like Black Lagoon / Fic at JEC. But these people cannot do comedy. Oh, this is going to be brutal if they do a comedy. Lower Decks wasn't actually anything to sneeze at, quite frankly. And a musical, fantastic, because we all know how great the fan reaction was to the Star Trek musical episode for Strange New Worlds, if anybody even heard of that one. At this point, they're reaching the point where people are so numb and indifferent to their IPs, no one's going to want them. It won't be worth selling when they finally do, but someone will buy it. Zevek's Demise. Good evening, everyone. Tony, I love the Book 15 cover. I love it too. Oh, it came out so nice. Ooh. Guess who's in the middle right there? Aha. You'll probably guess. Sam Rogers. Star Wars is imitation Star Wars. Yeah, that's what we should start calling it now. Call it Star Wars. I can't stand Star Wars. You keep calling it that until somebody in the cast or in the Star Wars universe finally corrects you, and you just insist to keep calling it Star Wars. Oh, wouldn't it be great to interview somebody from the Alkalite and just keep calling it Star Wars? So you're a big Star Wars fan? Are you calling it Star Wars? Yeah, that's what it is, Star Wars. No, it's Star Wars. Right, Star Wars. And just until they go crazy and end the interview. That'd be great. Alex Ogle. Oof, I watched The Sound of Water at the cinema with a girl. She enjoyed it at least. Well, that's a victory. Ardent, was that Joe DiMaggio? Just kidding. Star Trek is worse. Star Treks. Star Wars and Star Treks. Sam Rogers, I think Creature of the Black Lagoon was of its time. People at the time thought it was scary. Yeah, that was about the best you could do, a guy in a suit. But my God, the theater majors running Star Treks into the ground at this point. Another group of people I'd love to fire. God, that would be great. Get them all in a room, fire them all at once. All right, everybody, gather around. They're all happy. Is everyone here? Yeah. What's the big news? You're fired. And then I bring the security guys in, and they just start pushing them out with their batons. And they're all marching in sync. Choom, 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 choom. Oh my God, we're being pushed out. And I just start throwing their stuff from their desk out the window. Hey, here. Can't we even come in and empty our desk? No. Get out. Sam Rogers. I forget the context, but there was someone who was angry. Star Wars was being called Disney Star Wars. Well, it doesn't matter what you call it really now. At this point, the Alkalite has really killed it, I think. It's just so... You know what it's really hurt, too, is Disney Plus, because that's what it was on. So who the hell would buy Disney Plus? You buy Disney Plus, and you watch a show, you're psyched for a Star Wars show. Maybe this show will be finally good. And then you watch something like The Alkalite. You make yourself watch all 8 episodes, hoping it'll get better. I can't imagine wanting to keep Disney Plus after that. I can only imagine you going, okay, that's it. I'm canceling Disney Plus. What is on Disney Plus that's even worth watching at this point? I mean, other than watching the old movies, right? You watch all the Marvel movies. Okay, you've seen them all. Maybe a Moon Knight or an Andor I hear is watchable, but after that, like, what? You're telling me you're going to keep watching it? I just don't get it. Alex Ogle, Saturn III with Kirk Douglas, Farrah Fawcett, and Harvey Keitel. That should be remade with Donna D'Errico. I agree. Much better than this Star Trek Wars nonsense. uh yeah. Yeah, here it is. Robert Downey Jr. and Russo's return for more Avengers. Fantastic Four gets a title and more. I don't think the Fantastic Four is going to do well. It never does well. I don't think Pedro Pascal can carry a movie. I don't think he's famous enough. So, and I don't think the aesthetic will appeal to their woke audience. Not at all. I think they're going to try to appeal it to the more based audience, but they're all gone. They're not going to go see the movie. They went to go see Deadpool and Wolverine only because that's a leftover from Fox. Now it's a Disney, but it feels like it's still kind of at Fox. And Deadpool is still vulgar and comedic enough that it's good. After this, who knows? I was worried it went woke. I mean, you could watch my trailer analysis. I thought, they're kind of cucking him a little bit in the beginning there. Now it didn't, but if someone had come out with a review and said, "Oh yeah, he's completely cucked, it's terrible," I never would have gone to go see it. No way. Alex Ogle. Although the clip from The Thick of It, where Peter Capaldi, where his character Malcolm Tucker describes Star Wars as a film with two hairdressers and the chap who effed his sister, is priceless. That's pretty funny. Olympics organizers apologize for identifying South Korean as the North Korea during the opening ceremony. How do you F up that? God. First the drag queens and then this? Watching too many bearded dudes with dresses. Olympics organizers. You can't even get geography right. Sad. A lot of Olympic stuff here. The best part about the Olympics too is it's like people are talking about it in like Deadline. They never talk about sports any other time. Really, unless there's some controversy or some movie tie-in. It's like suddenly you care about sports. I don't really believe you. Alex Ogle, drag queen geography time. Yeah. Here's a drag queen to tell you where all the countries are. I don't know where North and South Korea is. Let's just call it a peninsula. Oh, here we go. Olympics opening ceremony artistic director says controversial tableau was not inspired by the Last Supper. Bull. That was totally drag queen Last Supper if you haven't seen it. Let's see if they have a picture of it. Are you not even going to post a picture? Okay, there it is. That's not the Last Supper? You're telling me this isn't the Last Supper? Bull. 100% this is the Last Supper. 100% that's the Last Supper. Sam Rogers. Fantastic Four will be called the Fabulous Four. Alex Ogle at Sam Rogers. Fabulous. Yeah, this is 100% the Last Supper with drag queens. 100%. You're not fooling anybody. Joke. What a joke. Oh, there it is. I think it was there purposely to offend everybody and make everybody totally pissed off. Again, demoralization. This guy probably thought it was cool and edgy, but now that he's been called out, his only choice is to double down or back off. I think the reaction is so bad, he's decided, well, I'm going to back off. But whatever. That was totally the Last Supper. And again, I'm not a religious guy. I don't care that you make fun of the Last Supper, but why do it at the Olympics? It's not a comedy show. It's supposed to be the Olympics. Why would you do that and not do it to every religion if you're going to do it? Oh yeah, there's a certain religions you'll never do that for. You cowards. Alex Ogle. Oh my, that director is a phenotype of beta males. Sam Rogers. Oh, he retracted his message. LeMay, I heard the spirit cooking performance art lady was involved. Really? I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, here's Jon Stewart calling somebody out. When is somebody going to call out Jon Stewart for being lame now? Jon Stewart calls out NBC and CNN saying they refuse to allow their reporters to come on his podcast. Good luck with that. Holly M. I'm not religious either, but I found it to be in very poor taste. Yeah, just doesn't even make any sense. JC, apparently Paris had a big power outage yesterday. Only building that had power was a church. God is angry. At the French. Surprise, surprise. Sam Rogers, I deleted the last comment. I thought maybe I went too far. Well, thanks for keeping us in check, Sam. I don't know. I don't know about YouTube. I'm surprised they haven't been banned already. Lady Gaga explained she changed the way that she sang for Joker Folie à Deux. I'm playing a character. I still don't know if this is going to be good. Man, I want to give it a chance, but I'm really on the fence about it. Alex Ogle at JC. Likely they misreported power, meaning heating. It was probably set on fire by the diversity. Yeah, Lady Gaga and the Joker. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm so sick of Harley Quinn, number one. But she's not playing her like any of the Harley Quinns before. So there's that. But it's a musical. I don't know, man. I don't know. But it takes place kind of in the past, like in the 70s. So the music will probably be decent. So I have many conflicting thoughts about it. First one's so good. It might be good. I really want to give it a chance. I don't know. I'm going to wait for the reviews on that one. Alex Ogle at Sam Rogers. Maybe it went too far, but it was opposite while it was available. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Alex Ogle at Sam. Oh, no. I already got that one. It popped up again. Weird. Paris Olympics beat Tokyo competition opening. Combined viewership on NBCU platforms tops 32 million. Oh. Well, that wasn't just TV then. I thought it was on TV. Sam Rogers. The Thing that will be a drag queen. It makes sense to call him The Thing. Oh, The Thing will be a drag queen. Oh, yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Wouldn't put it past him. I rewrite my statement. Sam says. Let's see. Anything else? Nah. Okay, moving on to Bleeding Fool. More on Deadpool and Wolverine. Here's the friggin' QR codes. This is crazy. Final scenes behind the QR codes. That's what greets you in the comic. You don't get it. You don't get to own it. You get to see it. Isn't that great? I would return this comic. I would go back to my comic book store. If I bought this comic, I'd return the comic. I'd go, I didn't pay $4.99 to have a comic that didn't have the pictures actually in it. I want to own it. I want to own the whole thing. I don't want to have to print it out. I want my money back. And I would demand a refund. I'd demand it, and if the store didn't give it to me, I'd demand it from Marvel. French court rules against artists who created Tintin parody. Well, in America, it would have been okay, I think. JC, desperate to get people to go digital. I guess. There's a real simple way to go digital. Make them $1 a piece because that's all they're worth. A digital comic's probably worth less than that, but $1 is a minimum, I think. So 99 cents a comic. You could download them or you could buy them. Simple as. Oops. Holly M. With this comic, what happens, say, in 5 to 10 years when the website is gone? Yeah, and you can never see the final page ever again. Can you imagine? I guess maybe they're looking at maybe the graphic novel will have the page. I don't know. Seems nuts. Seems absolutely nuts. Alex Ogle, the QR code is the ultimate betrayal to the reader. That link will not work perpetually, and the comic will be valueless without the missing panels. Yeah, that's what would drive the price, the first appearance of characters and the big reveal, whatever it is. Sam Rogers, they know what they're doing when they mock Christ. Ooh. Yeah, they do. JC, they have been doing that. People don't want to read comics digitally. I mean, people don't want to, I would say people don't want to read these comics. If these comics were good, then I would be one of those people. I would read them digitally because they'd be cheap. And I could afford to read comics again. I can't even afford to buy comics. Literally, I can't afford it. That's too much. It's too rich for my blood. $4.99 a comic? There's no way. There's no way I could afford to buy the comics I used to. I used to buy like 10 comics a week. There's no way I'm blowing $50 on comics. No way. A week? You're out of your mind. I used to blow like 20. Now, no, that same $20 would cost me easy 50. Easy. This was big news. This was this week. Disney stock nosedives as Ike Perlmutter unloads his 26 million shares. 26 million shares. These guys are getting out. That is a bad sign for Disney. Unless they know something, but Zevek's demise. I like hard copies, but digital is okay. Like, my friend bought 500 Batman comics for $50. Like, that's a good deal. I would do that if I wanted to read every single Batman issue again, but I'm kind of not up for it right now because they've ruined Batman. Like, the current stuff is so bad, I don't want to pay for it. I don't want those issues. I want them to be good. You need somebody good writing this. I don't even know who you could get now, other than me, to write good comics. I mean, they exist. Christopher Priest was good. They could bring him back. Mike Barron, of course. Chuck Dixon, always good. People like that. Sam Rogers, manga readers had no problem doing digital. Interesting. Alex at Zevek's demise. The trouble is you don't own the digital and you can only view it so long as the DRM allows and the server hosts content. That will not be nearly as long as print copies exist. Well, depends on how they do it. If it's a download, a PDF download, you'd have it as long as your files didn't go belly up. So that's what my friend did with the Batman comics. It was a PDF of every Batman comic. I think it was every Batman from 1 to 500, all scanned in. That's what I would want. Something like that. Zevix at Alex. I know video games on Steam and the like are the same. Yeah, that's unacceptable to me. Either own the game or get lost, I say. Sharon Stone threatened to move to Europe if Donald Trump wins, so everything's looking up for Trump in the election, so more incentive to vote for Trump. Sharon Stone will move to Europe. That's bull. She ain't moving. She ain't moving to Europe. None of these people who threaten to move ever move. They never do. No one does. They'd move now if they wanted. If they had any sense, they'd move now. They know Trump's going to win. They could always move back. They're millionaires. Move now. Move now. But she ain't moving. I do not believe that. Ardent Cher says she'll go too. I'll trade with her. I'd rather be in Tennessee. Apple TV now gets fewer views per month than Netflix views per day. Interesting. Apple TV had some decent stuff and a lot of original programming. So, that's kind of surprising. But then again, Netflix really does well with the foreign films, and they do have a few good original things. Sam Rogers, first manger I ever got into was into What's Digital. Oh, first manga I ever got into was digital. That was in 2012. Alex, Sharon Stone threat might have meant something if she made it when she was in Total Recall. Oh my God, was she hot in that movie? Well, we got to look at Sharon Stone in Total Recall. Sharon Stone blew my mind back in the day when I saw her in Total Recall. Unbelievable hotness. Let's see. You can't really see from this picture. Yeah, not a lot of good stills. That's a pretty good one. "13 Reasons to Watch the Original Total Recall." Yeah, there's Sharon Stone. Oh, man. It's a pretty good picture. Just absolute perfect body at that time. 100% perfect body. That's the only picture of her. The fight scene, even. When she fights Arnold, she looks amazing. Yeah, I don't have a really good picture of her from back in the day. Oh, here we go. The fight. All right. Hold on. I can't play that with sound. So I think this is Sharon Stone trying to kill him. Oh, here we go. Pretty hot in that outfit too. Arnold's acting is just hilarious. I don't want to play too much of it. I'll definitely get flagged. I always get flagged for playing stuff like this. But man, she was a total smoke show back in the day. Ardent, of course these celebs aren't going to leave. Trump gives tax breaks to the well-off anyway. He gives tax breaks to everybody. I thought this was a different scene. There's another scene where she's in like a tight business suit. It's all blue. She looked really good. Ardent, wasn't Sharon Stone up against Michelle Pfeiffer for Catwoman in the second Batman movie? I wouldn't be surprised. They're around the same era, so would make sense. Where was I? Yeah, Sharon Stone. But yeah, she's kind of annoying now. Totally annoying. More reviews on the Alkalite. I think it's time to stop talking about that damn show too. Just waiting for it to just quietly die at this point. Now we're already starting to complain about uh, Rings of Power season 2. And I did a trailer analysis at Arnott. They should have a casting scene where they wrestled in an inflatable pool. Hmm. It was the 80s. That might have happened. Sam Rogers, if these people really do leave the country, please don't let them come to Australia. Fire breathing drop bears will kill them the moment they step off the plane. I'm totally not making that up. Wow. Wow. Well, I'll let them know. Uh, but this week I did a trailer analysis for Rings of Power season 2 and basically just complained about it. I mean, but the trailer itself looked better because there's lots of action in season 2. Apparently, there's just tons of fights. Ardent at Alex Ogle, a fellow man of culture. There's tons of action, but all the action was stuff from the movie. So they had a giant spider in it. They had a bridge collapsing, an underground bridge collapsing. They had a Balrog. They had the Gandalf dude doing something very Gandalf-y. They had Ents. They had hobbits, which are called Harfoots. They had a couple other things that looked exactly like the movie. Like there was almost nothing new in it that I could tell. It's like you're doing the Rings of Power, just do something different with it. They kind of did that in the first season, but it was so boring. I don't know who would watch it. Ardent, they couldn't come to Canada either. We have a saltwater moose. That sounds like a candy. We have saltwater taffy in South Jersey. Saltwater moose sounds like a flavor of that candy. It's weird. Saltwater moose. Do they hide in the ocean and then kill you? What is that all about? You're making that up. Alex, now they'll disguise their destruction of Tolkien's work by covering it up with action. It'll soon be clear it's not faithful. Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be. And I wouldn't expect anybody to watch it who watched part of the first season like I did. I watched the first 2 episodes and they were so boring. I don't care that you've kicked up the action. Because now I would have to watch the rest of season 1 and season 2, and that you've already burned me. I don't need to be burned again. I'm not giving that kind of leeway. Ardent, yeah, they attack divers and swimmers all the time, I swear. Oh, all right. Everybody stay out of Canada and Australia. Sharon, go to France. That's probably where you belong anyway. Oh, this was actually very funny. I don't know if you guys saw this. Oh, they don't have it here. God, the rap. What are you doing to me? Now I got to go to Twitter again. Okay. See if I find it. Where the hell is it? Oh, come on. Hold on. You got to see this. They recreated this sad Wolverine meme. Oh, I know who retweeted it. Razor Fist did. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. So brilliant. That's pretty damn funny. Sam Rogers retracted. Sam Rogers, goodbye everyone. I'm going to go start my day. Have a good day, Stam. Thanks for stopping by. Alex Ogle, have a good day at Sam. So yeah, this was the meme, and it's friggin' hilarious. And then Deadpool recreated it too, and then it was a picture of the meme that they recreated. Yep, pretty much all the same stuff. All right, moving on to comic book news. Here it is. Exclusive James Gunn Superman trailer on the way. Movie is solid. Maybe. I guess. Exclusive Fantastic Four spoiler info if you want to see that. I won't read it because I don't know if some of you don't want to hear it. Thunderbolts trailer. This is going to be, you want to talk about a dumpster fire. I don't think there's any chance in hell this movie could be good, but they're making it. It's one of the dumbest moves. It to me, it shows 100% people in Hollywood don't understand comics. They don't read them. They don't care. They just keep making comic book movies, and they're just going to keep making them until they stop making money. So, if you're wondering why RDJ is Doctor Doom, that's why. That's why. He made money before. They're bringing him back, and they're just going to make as many Doctor Doom things they can, squeeze as much money out of it as they can until the whole thing collapses. That's it. So I guess all the San Diego teasers dropped, and Transformers 1. This is another one I got flack for. I did a Transformers 1 trailer reaction, and there's some hardcore Transformers fanboy he was coming at me. I don't know why. Who cares? But this movie looks totally unnecessary. There is an episode in the original cartoon that basically is this movie, and they make Megatron and Optimus Primes. They were buddies before the Megatron becomes evil, and the whole. I mean, you could write the damn thing. And for some reason, every celebrity in Hollywood does a voice. Like, why would they spend that kind of money? It's not that. I don't see the appeal at all. But maybe somebody is into this. Kids, I guess. I don't see it being good. But whatever. And I think that's it. I think we're out of room here. Oh, it's only 10. Oh, wait, that's 3 hours. Damn it. I should probably wrap this up. Because I've been, over the last few weeks, I've had to do, I keep putting my YouTube streams on the other platforms, but now the files are so big, I have to split them up into parts. It's crazy. It takes forever. So that's another thing I have to do. And it's 10 o'clock. And I'm losing my voice. So I'm going to have to wrap it here. Let's talk about what we learned today. Okay. The Olympics is terrible. It's just terrible. You shouldn't watch it. Has nothing to do with sports anymore. Woke women have ruined everything, including comics and the Olympics. What else? Oh, Deadpool and Wolverine is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Not going to fix the MCU, but it's going to keep Disney in money for a little while. Alex, I need to go for a wee. Don't let little Joan do any backflips while I'm away. I can't promise you that. I cannot promise because I'm wrapping up. I'm wrapping up, Alex. You're going away, and now I'm leaving. What else did we learn? That's about it, really. That's about it. And, some politics. Not too much politics, though. The Kamala Harris stuff was big this week. All the celebrities lining up behind her was just painful to watch. Like, literally, it was the NPC meme in real life. Zebix Deminds, I need some pizza. Ooh, I need some pizza too now that you said that. Ardent, have a good week, man. See you next time. Thanks for coming in, Ardent. Appreciate it. Thanks to all who came in. And now I need pizza. Or maybe ice cream. I already had dinner. And I already had pizza today. I should probably get ice cream. But I have no money. I gotta go sell some more books. That's what I need to do. I'm gonna go do that so I can have ice cream later. I ate enough this week. I had a blueberry cannoli on Saturday. Fantastic in Hamilton. Holly M, have a good one. Have a good one to you, Holly M. The blueberry cannolis in Hamilton, fantastic. Fantastic. You can only get them for a limited time. Once blueberry season is over, and it's just about over, they're gone. Also, if you haven't been to Royal Crown Ice Cream on Route 30 in Hamilton, you're really missing out. These are not my sponsors. I just love them. Zevix Demines, I just bought a book. Thank you, my friend. I'm going to go have some ice cream because of you. The ice cream at Royal Crown, oh, they make it with fresh blueberries. And let me tell you something. It is the greatest ice cream I've ever had. Bar none. Bar none. They also made this year, in the same custard machine, they had blueberry, soft serve, and raspberry soft serve, each made with local fruit. And then they had the swirl in the middle. So it comes out red and blue swirl, raspberry and blueberry. I mean, just mind-blowing. Just mind-blowing. God, I'm making myself hungry as F now. Now I definitely want ice cream. I'm going to have to find a place with ice cream. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.